Once again, it's the elimination round here in Omaha. Both of tonight's teams lost their openers despite late heroics. Now the breathing room is gone. For UCLA, start shortstop Troy Gloss hit a dramatic home run in the bottom of the ninth to tie their first game and keep the Bruins' hopes alive, only to get dusted by Miami in the 12th inning. For Mississippi State, great defense kept them within striking distance of top-seeded Alabama. They tied the game in the top of the ninth, and then they fell. Now it's win or bow out. It's the 8th game of the 1997 College World Series. UCLA taking on Mississippi State. Yesterday in bracket 1, LSU remained undefeated, and the Rice Owls became the first team to be eliminated from the series. Earlier today in this half of the draw, Miami defeated Alabama, so the Crimson Tide awaits the winner of our game. The loser is out of the College World Series. Could this be the final game for Mississippi State's Ron Polk? He has hinted openly that his retirement may come sooner than later. An ambassador for the game, he has produced a long list of players who reached the big leagues, like Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiro. And in 22 years, he has put together a model program. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick along with Joe Morgan. It's great to have you with us. The Bulldog players went to Starkville to play for Ron Polk, and the effort they put up against #1 Alabama shows everybody how much they'd like to win one for him.
Well, you're right, Mike, and that effort was led by Brooks Bryant, who had drove in a run, made a great catch in the outfield, and he also threw 2 runners out at the plate. So, I mean, that shows what their effort they're putting forward here. They've got an uphill climb maybe, but they've got a lot of motivation because they all love Ron Polk.
UCLA's Troy Gloss broke Mark McGuire's Pac-10 home run record on Saturday when he hit his 33rd against Miami. He will be a top 6 pick in the amateur draft coming up. He's the real deal.
Well, he is the real deal, but like Brandon Larson, he's a big, tall shortstop with exceptional power. Only this guy can really run. He can play shortstop. And I mean, but his biggest strength is that he is a clutch performer, which he made evident the other night when he hit the game-tying home run against Miami in the 9th inning. And with Berkman gone, he could be, the #1 player here left. All the spotlight's going to fall on him, but I think he can handle it.
UCLA and Mississippi State in an elimination game. The starting lineups coming up from Omaha in just a moment. Welcome back to Omaha. UCLA against Mississippi State, and for UCLA head coach Gary Adams, a dream come true after 23 years with the Bruins. His first College World Series. He lost regional finals 4 of the last 7 years. Here's the EA Sports starting lineup. John Heinrichs will lead it off in left field. Eric Burns, the right fielder, batting second. Troy Gloss, the shortstop. The cleanup man, center fielder Royce Vallant. Peter Zamora, pitcher and DH today. Nick Theodoro is the second baseman. Hitting 7th, Jack Santora, the third baseman. Brett Nista down at first. And Casey Cloud, the catcher, will hit 9th.
And when you talk about John Heinrich, you're talking about a guy that can hit for power. Good leadoff hitters, on-base percentage is great. A lot of people have compared him to Brady Anderson. He had 28 home runs this year, 5 of them in his first at-bat.
Mississippi State rolling the dice with its starting pitching assignment, going with Chris Reinecke, a power pitcher, 3-3. This will be his 21st game and only his 8th start. He struck out 62 in 60 2/3 innings, giving up 71 hits over that span, so more than 1 hit per inning. And UCLA has shown a propensity to hit the power pitchers, and they've had trouble with the finesse guys, the junk balls.
That's kind of par for the course for young players. A lot of young players like to, react quickly, swing the bat, hit the fastball.
Heinrich stands in at 359 and takes a fastball in there. Not your prototypical leadoff guy, so has a lot of power. He has never been drafted, but should go in the first 5 rounds this week, as he has come on during his senior season. He's out of San Diego, California.
I think we'll have to wait a few pitches to see how that shadow over home plate is affecting the hitter. See if anyone's late. Doesn't seem to be affecting Heinrich. He seems to be able to see the ball. What you can tell, when you can tell if it's affecting them, is if they start jumping at the ball, kind of jumping toward the pitcher because they're not seeing it right away.
Reineke falls behind 3-1 to the leadoff hitter John Heinrichs. Fastball skied to center field. Ciano going over and now drifting towards right, and Bryan will make the catch. One gone. The Mississippi State defense, they played very well the other night. Patton behind the dish, Pyatt at third, Freeman the shortstop, Chapman and Lee the rest of the infield. The outfield left to right, Toms, Ciano, and Bryan, who has a brilliant arm in right field. We saw that the other night. Eric Burns, two-hitter. Takes a strike from Reineke. Burns has some power, mainly a doubles hitter. And their best pitcher this one back to the house. Incoming in one of the radio booths down to our right.
That's the first batter. I mean, that's the first pitch that it seemed like the hitter did not pick it up as quickly as he would like. Burns was a little late on that one.
Slapped on the ground toward first, and Lee comes up ready to take it himself. 2 gone here in the top of the first. And Gloss will have to come up with the bases empty, which is just the way Mississippi State wants it. He's hit safely in 18 of his last 19 games, homered in 13 of his last 23, and found a home at shortstop. He started the season as the third baseman. You say big shortstop. This kid's 6'5", 215.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it the other night. They're getting bigger, stronger, and faster. He is kind of typical of that new type of athlete.
Off-speed stuff from Reineke.
Reineke throws a fastball. He has a hard slurve, and he throws a changeup. Basically, he throws about 88 to 89 miles an hour right in there.
There's a fastball fouled straight back, and Gloss had a good cut.
Well, the problem there was that I don't know how he missed that pitch. I mean, he was right on it.
He doesn't either.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good pitch to hit. Let's take a look at this swing, and we'll see where he contacts it, and that'll tell us why he missed it or where he was. Well, he was a little late on it. You could see that he did not get the bat out in front.
2-1 to Troy Gloss. Another fastball swung through that one, 2-2. That got up to 91.
But see, that tells you right there, if he couldn't hit the 2-0 fastball, he was late on that, and you know he's not going to be out in front of a 2-1 fastball or a 2-2 fastball. I think if I was the pitcher, I'd come right back with that same pitch.
He did, and it's hit to deep center, but Ciano has plenty of room at center, makes the catch. 1, 2, 3. The Bruins go quietly in the first. 0-0, end of the half inning. Here's the EA Sports starting lineup for the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. Brad Freeman, the shortstop, leads it off. Left fielder Rusty Toms bats second. Richard Lee down at first base hits in the 3-hole. The cleanup man is Adam Pyatt, the third baseman. Barry Patton, the catcher, hits fifth. Sixth is Brian Weiss, the DH. Damian Ciano, the center fielder, is the number 7 hitter. Travis Chapman at second bats 8th, and batting 9th and playing right is Brooks Bryan. They have moved the 2 left-handers down in the order against a left-hander today.
And on Saturday, MSU they didn't get any hits from the 3rd and 4th slot, but Adam Pyatt, the cleanup hitter, is tied for the team lead in hitting with Lee, and he's led them in doubles. But if they're going to win tonight, they're going to have to have some production from their 3rd and 4th hitters, especially Pyatt.
The starter, Peter Zamora, 6-2 this year, but a 5.17 ERA. This will be his 17th game and his 15th start. 71 strikeouts in 94 innings. Right now, let's check in with our colleague Larry Conley. Larry.
Thanks, Mike. In that loss the other day, the 12-inning loss to Miami, Rob Hinkle and Jake Meyer threw a total of 4 innings. And they also gave up half of those 16 walks, which is a College World Series record. I asked Gary Adams today, who's going to be the guys that are coming out of the bullpen when Zamora goes down? He said, those 2 guys. So he's got confidence in them, and why not? They got him here.
Well, you've got to stick with the people who brung you as it goes, but they may be a little shaky when they come in after that performance.
You're right.
Here's the defense for the Bruins. Cloud behind the plate. Santora, Gloss, Theodoro, and Nista the infield. Heinrichs, Valent, and Burns are the outfield for UCLA, and I imagine our basketball colleague Annie Myers is very interested in this ball game. One of the biggest UCLA boosters on the face of the planet.
You ever played golf with them?
No, she beat me to death. I wouldn't give her the satisfaction.
Well, there's whoever takes charge of the box, the lineup for the opposing team. They write down what the hitter did, maybe what position was, what the exact pitch was. They keep charting exactly what a hitter has done throughout the ball game. That's a little different than the pitcher who charts every pitch and location. They will usually just put where that guy hit the ball, what the pitch was.
My apologies to Eric Valent. I pronounced it Valent. Brad Freeman will lead it off. And takes a pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
Now, Zamora throws a lot of different pitches. It'll take us 10 minutes just to get through all the pitches that he throws.
And from any conceivable angle as well.
You're right. He throws a fastball, a slider, a curve, a change, a splitter. And as you mentioned, he will throw it over the top, sidearm. He throws from 3 different angles, a little bit 3/4. So he mixes things up very, very well.
When he's not pitching, he's the first baseman.
Good hitter.
And we'll have to wait to see how he does as the pitcher. Sometimes that affects their hitting performance. Sometimes it doesn't. Two and 1 to Brad Freeman, who stands in at 07. Ball 2-2. Did not hit well in the regional leagues. 1-2 in the College World Series. Takes that breaking ball in the dirt. 3-2. Got to be a pretty good hitter to be a 1 or a 2 man, because they want you to take so many pitches to get a look at the pitcher. A lot of times you're hitting with 2 strikes. You have to be able to put it in play.
You're right. You do not have big free swingers hitting first or second normally.
There's a fastball tap back to the box. Picked up by Zamora and one gone.
Well, he got deep into Freeman's kitchen there. If that was a wooden bat, it would have been broken.
Yeah. He'd have been holding about 3.5 inches of it.
I mean, watch where this pitch is, how close it is to his hands. I mean, right on the hands. And you see not much juice behind it when it comes off the bat.
Rusty Toms, the left fielder, stands in at 342. He was 1 for 4 in Mississippi State's opening competition. Breaking ball, catches the strike zone. 0-1.
The one other thing that Zamora has going for him is his motion. I mean, he throws a lot of things at your arms, gloves, everything else. and then here comes the ball. So that helps him to hide his pitches from the hitter. From a hitter's perspective, you want to be able to pick the ball up as quickly as you can, and you want to see the pitcher's arm all the way if you can. But he hides it. He gives you a little back, shoulder, gives you a little bit of everything.
Strike call 1 and 2. And when a guy comes from so many different angles like he does, it's not only difficult on the hitter, it's difficult on the pitcher because you've got so many different release points.
Yeah, it's hard to keep your rhythm. Tell you what, he's throwing a little harder than I thought he would. And he's able to spot that fastball right over the outside corner. And watch this fastball is right over the outside corner plate. And remember, he started the guy off with a curveball, which gets you looking for it. Now he throws a fastball right away from it. Good pitching there from Zamora.
2 out, nobody on here in the home half of the first inning for Richard Lee. Developed some power this year and leads the ball club. 19 homers, 90 RBIs, and the 90 RBIs, as you see, the 4th best in Bulldog baseball history. Outside 2-0. And they really need the production from Lee and Pyatt, the 3-4 hitters.
Normally when you're 3-4 hitters, they're good hitters anyway, and they have a bad day, they usually bounce back pretty good.
Chopped off the right side. Theodora gobbles it back and throws him out, so both teams go quietly in the first. 3 up, 3 down from Mississippi State. We're scoreless after 1. Back in the College World Series in Omaha, an elimination game with UCLA and Mississippi State here at Rosenblatt Stadium. Looks like a pitcher's evening with the wind blowing in about 10 miles an hour. We have not had that predominant gale to left center most of this week, and pitchers are thrilled with that as they can fly out of here.
Well, especially in the daytime.
Eric Valent leads it off, fouls the first one out of play. Valent with 19 home runs this year, 91 RBIs. That's the club lead in that department. Also led the high fastball from Reineke. We talked about rolling the dice with Reineke. He is predominantly a fastball pitcher. The look you get from the umpire's face mask cam. And so far he has acquitted himself well with his style of pitching against power hitting UCLA. Foul back.
Well, I've only seen 3 games. I did the first game and I've watched the other 2 on television. I haven't seen, I think the shadows here must be bothering some of these hitters. I have not seen the hitters late on a lot of fastballs I'm seeing now. So that shadow that's across the front of home plate may be bothering them with the pitcher being in the sunlight.
That was a foul outside first. Count rides at 2-2. Valent's a guy who, when he doesn't try to pull the ball, he just swings at it with a nice smooth stroke and will go where the ball is pitched. Has tape measure power. He can really crush it. And he has been a good shape for UCLA. That one's low 3-2.
One of the bad habits you develop with the aluminum bat, though, is that because the bat is so light and you can whip it, it's very difficult to have the discipline to stay out, left center, right center, stay back through the middle of the ball diamond. Because you know that you can turn on a pitch anytime you want.
Missed inside at the knees for the fastball and issues the first walk of the game. Valent goes down to first. And that will bring up Zamora, who was the DH and the pitcher this afternoon. Second on the club at 370, or third on the club at 379. They have really put up some numbers. They hit 141 home runs this year and a team batting average of 336.
Oh!
Reineke misses outside. After a high fastball, he fouls it back out of play. It was right up around the bill of his cap.
Yeah, that one, he must have saw that one pretty well. As he attacked it, and it was definitely out of the strike zone. See the big barrel on that bat? I mean, that's a big barrel, especially for a aluminum bat. Normally, they're not that big.
So I hope you were with us last night when Larry Conley was talking about the different kinds of aluminum bats and the technology that's gone into them and how much faster the ball explodes off the face of that bat.
Yeah, well, look at the barrels on those bats.
Yeah. Off-speed pitch hit to Shea. Mississippi State executing on defense. The routine plays, especially the ones you have to make here in Omaha.
Well, you're right, and I said at the beginning, I still believe that infield play will dictate whoever the final champion is going to be. If you do not turn the double plays, you can't make the plays on the infield, you're going to have a lot of problems. The runner jumps off. Now he gets a pretty good jump after he stops. There you go.
2 gone for UCLA after their only base runner for Nick Theodoro. It's a guy who really wanted to play at UCLA. His brother just bugged Gary Adams to death to get him to go look at it. And he said he finally did it just to get his brother off his back. And he saw him. The young man went 0 for 4, dove for a ball in center field, missed it, and went for a triple, and figured he'd never play for UCLA. But Gary Adams liked him anyway, liked his competitive spirit. And he made the ball club as a walk-on / recruit. He was going to go to UCLA anyway, but he wanted to play baseball there.
And that's interesting. That tells you how good a coach Adams is. You can see things in a player sometimes, even when he's having a bad day. You can see some qualities. It's like if you watch a guy, make a player, you may go 0 for 4 on that particular day, but you may see one great swing. You may see the effort. As he said, he dove for a ball. You may see something in his makeup that tells you that he can bounce back and he's going to be a good player.
Pitch is high. Theodoro has the best eye on the ball club. Sometimes it gets him in trouble because he has he considers home plate the strike zone. And very often a pitch 2-3 inches outside is called a strike, and he knows it really isn't by the book, and he can get in trouble with it. Right near Broadway, 3-2.
Sometimes guys with good eyes can get themselves in trouble, and I'm speaking from experience there. Sometimes you know that ball's 3 inches off the plate, but sometimes you do not get that call.
Great call. With the benefit of a double play, 3 up, 3 down. We get to the bottom of the first. 0-0 in Omaha. Bottom of the second for Mississippi State. 0-0 with UCLA here in the College World Series. The loser will fall to 0-2 and be eliminated, along with the Owls of Rice, who fell last night. The winner goes on to meet Alabama in yet another elimination game. Zamora working his second inning, and he'll start to Adam Pyatt, who is the cleanup hitter, the junior out of Fort Myers, Florida. His numbers down a little bit this year because he had a bad hip flexor. Still hit 16 home runs and had 68 RBIs. Pretty good numbers when you're injured.
You're right. And remember one thing about this game, it's tough enough to play when you do not have any injuries.
Pyatt, like Richard Lee before him, 0 for 2. Omaha. 2-0.
The one thing I like about Zamora is that his fastball really runs away from the right-handed hitter. A lot of left-handers nowadays, that ball doesn't run away like it should. It's a natural motion for it to run away. Like there's is moving away from the hitter. And movement is still the key to a fastball. Movement and then location.
Took something off that and missed. 3-1. Sometimes when you throw as many pitches from as many angles as Zamora does, you become enamored with your variety rather than what's working.
Well, that's true. Got
the 3-1 in there, hit the deep right center field. And back on the track for the catch. Eric Burns. Let's check in with Larry Conley. Larry.
You know, Mike, I was down in UCLA dugout before the game, and I was visiting with the coaching staff down here, and I told Gary Adams, the rest of the guys, I said, you know, it must be tough for you guys to come out here and play this sun field in right field with the way the sun's setting here at Rosenblatt. They kind of looked at me and they laughed, and they said, have you ever been to Jackie Robinson Field when the sun is setting? He said, it's a lot worse out there. This is a cakewalk.
Well, at least somebody won't be bothered by it, Larry. That's probably the first team in the history of the College World Series that didn't come in here and go, oh, my Lord.
Well, and actually both teams are playing it like they're not bothered by it. The 2 fly balls I've seen go up here, I thought they were going to have a problem.
The shadow just splitting home plate right now.
Yeah, well, it's to the hitter's advantage the farther it comes back so that the hitter and the plate will be in the sunlight. And it's to the hitter's advantage.
You know, when you're playing golf and you have to hit out of your own shadow, it bothers me. Does it do it as a hitter to you?
Yes. Well, it definitely bothers me.
Golfs that one and hits it outside the bag. Just foul. Real stand by Santora at third.
You'll see this ball is ripped down the line. I was surprised that he was able to get over there and stop it, but you see he shows a lot of range there. The ball's about 2 feet foul when it gets to him, and he was still able to get there.
One and 2 to Barry Patton, number 5 man in the order. Mississippi native. He laces that one foul. Young man's on an academic scholarship, and with the state of college baseball, that is a godsend for Mississippi State. You don't have to use one of your 11 2/3 scholarships. Second is Patton. He will hold there with a double. And the first hit of the ball game.
Let's take a look at this swing. Look at his head. Look at everything. Everything's going that way. Everything's aiming toward right field, which is what you want to do. Let's take another look at it. Nice swing, just good hand action there. He hit that basically with his hands, stayed back, and just used his hands to rifle that ball down the right field line.
Nice example of that at bat of hitting it where the ball was. You remember the one he laced just inside the third base bag. He pulled an inside pitch. This is Weiss, who was 1 for 2 in his first College World Series game. And Weiss hitting .311 this season. Been used mostly as the DH versus lefties, and the first time Mississippi State has got an extra base hit with 3-5 bats. Right now they would be happy to take a single. Ron Polk looking for the lead right now. Reese from Greenwell Springs, Louisiana. Gary Adams checking his notes. Breaking down toward left, it's in for the base hit. Here comes Reese. Heinrichs with the throw. 1-0 Bulldogs.
a breaking ball there. Like I told you, to me, his best pitch is that fastball that tails away. Now watch where this pitch ends up. I mean, that is a hanger if there ever was one. So all you got to do is put the wood on it, and it's going to be a line drive. It's going to get over the infield, and that ball's over the infield for a base hit. Good play there in the outfield, though, by Heinrichs. He threw the ball low enough that it could be cut off, and it held the runner at first base, so the double play is still in order.
Well, if he's going to hit a cutoff, man, he's playing the major leagues for me right now. There aren't many guys who are doing that.
That's why I emphasize. A lot of guys now display their arm. They want to show how far they can throw it.
Ciano stands in with a runner at first and one gone here in the Mississippi State second, and getting that lead is huge for either one of these clubs. Slowly to second. That'll be an error on Nick Theodoro at second.
I think he was caught in between. He really didn't know what he wanted to do. The ball was coming. He was trying to get there in time enough to grab it and tag the runner. And then I think he just got caught in between. To watch, he's charging the ball, which is the right thing to do. But now he just kind of stops. And once he stops, he gets flat-footed, and then he just gets back on his heels a little bit. He misses it. He didn't take his eyes off the ball. He just kind of got back on his heels.
Brian Weiss did everything he could to distract him as he ran by. And now Travis Chapman has two men on with one out. So two singles and an error helping the Mississippi State round for a double. Chapman hitting .343. He's done a nice job filling in for the injured Rob Hauswald. Zamora wheels toward second. The outfield playing him not to pull as the center fielder Valent well toward right center. Fastball missed outside. Play him away and pitch him away. Can't be anything more frustrating for a coach than to say, look, we're going to play him to hit the ball toward the right side, and you throw him inside and he's able to pull one. It just drives you nuts.
Yeah, if you're going to play him away and you have to pitch him away, you're not going to be able to throw slow breaking balls inside if your defense is set up for him to go the other way.
Fouls this one back into the stands, 1-2.
We mentioned the variety of pitches that Zamora throws, but I think his fastball is his best pitch, the one that he has moving away from the right-handed hitter.
It's certainly been very effective so far. We saw what happens when he gets that breaking ball up. Of course, that happens to anybody that gets it up. Just missed on the outside. 2-2. On deck, the number 9 man, Brooks Bryant, who was the defensive hero the other night against Alabama. Showed us great speed in the outfield and a tremendous arm. Inside, get away from the catcher. Won't do it again. It's ball 4. The first walk issued by Zamora. Now they're saying it hit him.
Yeah, it did hit him. Watch this, a breaking ball, and it bounces first, but then it still hits him. It bounces right there and hits him off the left leg. Get a better look at it here. It probably bounced off his shoe first, and then bounces up higher. I was a little surprised again that he went with the breaking ball there. Because you want to get the ground ball if you can. A little sinker away would have done the job.
Stanley Cup action facing off tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. The quest for the cup. up their series against the Red Wings. It's Game 2 from Philadelphia. The Red Wings and the Flyers, the Stanley Cup Finals on ESPN. Join us at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. That's tomorrow night, and that means our game from the College World Series will be on the Deuce.
There you see a former Major League pitcher, Tim Leary. Pitched quite a bit with the Reds. He had a big breaking ball, fastball.
Ryan moved down to number 9 in the order to face the left-hander and sees a big hook sweep in there. Another breaking ball fouled off. Runner down at third is Barry Patton, who doubled Brian Weiss. Excuse me, Weiss is on at third, Ciano at second, and Travis Chapman down at first. Bases loaded, only one out, bottom of the second. Fastball way outside.
The guy tells you where he wanted to be. He's in the right spot. Omaha.
Well, he can write curveball on the other shoe because here it comes.
Here it comes. Oh, you're right. Looking at the way the catcher set up, I thought he might be going inside with a fastball. But you're right. Another good breaking ball. That one was a real good one because it was down and out of the strike zone.
The second strikeout for Zamora, and now he has 2 outs with the bases loaded for the leadoff man Brad Freeman, who tapped back to the mound. Oh, excuse me, foul ball. Missed with a fastball, 2-2. Casey Cloud calls the game every pitch. Something they do at UCLA. They feel it's very important to develop catchers and their entire pitching staff. Breaking pitch hit down to first. No step on the bag, and the run is in there. Stepping on the bag at first took away the force play, and there was a hesitation by Brett Nista down at first as he made the play.
Well, he hesitated twice, but his play should have been to home plate. But what he did, he tagged the bag, then he looked at second, and then he threw to the plate. So he made a couple mistakes. Watch this. He's in already. If you're playing in, come to the plate. Right there, he's got the ball. Come to the plate. No, he tags, looks at second. Now he tries to come to the plate. Too late, and the run scored.
So it's 2-0, and runners at second and third. And Brian gets the RBI. And they'll have to do some work on Weiss's knee. Freeman grounded out his first time up. 2 runners in scoring position with 2 out.
This is definitely a key hitter here with 2 outs. You have to make sure you get this guy. You have to try to make quality pitches. If you miss, it's okay to walk him, but you have to make sure that you make the pitch that you want to make in this situation.
Keller already up and working in the UCLA bullpen. They went through 2/3 of their staff in the first game, trying to find someone who could throw strikes for those club record 16 walks. And Gary Adams knows very well you cannot wait too long here in the College World Series. One more loss and either club's gone. And everybody is available. Swing and a miss on the fastball, 2-1. Joe, that fastball doesn't move a lot unless it's on the outer third of the plate, and then it moves an awful lot.
Exactly. I think that's the release point. He throws it kind of 3/4, so he's getting that natural movement. That right there, when you throw 3/4, it moves away. If it comes straight over the top or even sidearm, sometimes it doesn't move back. But if you throw the ball 3/4, you're actually pulling across it a little bit, and you're going to get that movement. Take a look and see, you'll see this ball actually moving away. Watch where it starts. Starts in and just moves away. You see the catcher have to move out there to get it.
3-1 to Freeman. Breaking ball 4.
I would say that's okay if you're sure that you can throw strikes to Tom. The point is, as I said, you have to make sure you make good pitches, because 2-0 is not that big a deal, in college baseball, Major League Baseball for that matter anymore. But 4-0, you start to get in the danger zone, because if they can add one here, one there, you're really in trouble. So you have to try to make sure that you hold the damage to 2 runs here in the second inning.
Well, they've only had 2 hits. Breaking pitch is high. A double and a single produced the first run, then an error, a hit batsman, fielder's choice, and a walk. And the bases are loaded with 2 gone. 31 pitches make it 32 for Zamora in this inning, 45 for the game.
I think you're at a point now where 2-0, you just have to say, hey, here it comes, hit it, and hope he hits it at someone. Or hope he pops it up.
Tom's was a strike. First time up, takes a called strike there. Mississippi State with an early bid to get some breaking room. Ball 3, missed with a fastball.
The only problem here is that there's nothing more demoralizing to a team than a walking run. I mean, if a guy gets a base hit, at least they earned it. And when you walk in runs, you're really demoralizing your teammates.
That's what killed him in the game against Miami. Fastball in there, 3-2. The merry-go-round will start with the bases loaded, 3-2 and 2 out.
Takes away, the problem is it takes away all the force plays, so it puts a little more pressure on the defense as well. On the inner defense, that is, the infield.
Burns comes on to make the catch. That ball hung up there for him, and Burns able to come on and make the catch into the sun. That's the end of the inning, but 2 runs for Mississippi State. They take the lead. Mississippi State with a 2-0 lead. That's Paul and Karen Griego, a couple of local luminaries. Paul always allows me to go out on the golf course every year so he can rifle through my wallet.
Is that the famous Paulie?
Yes, it is. Sporting News had a big article on them and all the goings on here in Omaha, Nebraska for the College World Series. I hope this event never leaves here. It's a wonderful venue for it. Reineke pitching to Jack Santora, third baseman. Getting the start because he's been hot as his season's average up to 386. 1 for 5 in his College World Series debut. Reineke's been pretty impressive so far.
Yes, he has. I mean, well, the main thing is he's throwing strikes and he's using his fastball.
Good locations with it.
The best pitch in the world is still a fastball with movement and location. If you can move the ball around and get good location, your fastball will serve you well.
Hey, watch a guy like Roger Clemens, even at this stage of his career, who says, enough with the breaking stuff. Let's go back to the heat.
I think you're always better off if you have a good enough fastball. Like I said,
walked it. The second base on balls issued by Reineke. The first one was wiped out on a double play. Now he'll face Brett Nista, who is playing first base because Zamora was pitching in the DH today. Nist has been bothered by a bad shoulder. It was dislocated again. It popped out in the regionals. Very nasty, painful injury. It's a big cut, fouls it out of play. He was actually the shortstop, then became the DH on this club before separating the shoulder. He slid in, didn't even slide in head first. Slid into the plate feet first and separated the shoulder.
That's an unusual injury. A lot of times if you dive head first, you will separate your shoulder. I mean, that can happen, especially going to home plate against those shin guards. But sliding feet first is unusual. Separate a shoulder.
Breaking ball that hung high, 1-1. Mister from Laguna Hills, California. Hasn't played very much at first base. Maybe that's one of the reasons he hesitated in the top of the inning when the bases loaded situation. Baseball, more than anything else, is repetition.
Exactly. You have to know what you're going to do before the play happens. I think what really crossed him up there is the ball was hit toward the bag, and it actually led him toward the bag, and he didn't want to stop and turn and throw back. But that's what he should have done. Stop and to always try to get the first one at the plate, that lead runner.
Called strike 2, 1-2 on a breaking pitch. It was high in the zone. I'm glad you said that. You have to know what you're going to do before the ball is hit, because there are so many options. If you don't have them figured out before, you're never going to figure it out.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's the first rule I ever learned. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
That's why some of the other sports you can get away with certain things. I mean, you're standing over a golf ball, you can think out of all the options before you swing.
Yeah, that still doesn't work, though.
Well, let's take a look at this. It's a pretty good curveball from Reineke. There you see the rotation is more of a slurve, and that's what we call it. That's not really a straight downer. It's kind of going across. But good location, keeping it down, and the speed fools the hitter.
Casey Cloud stands in at 249 with Santora down at first and 1 gone. Cloud, a very good defensive catcher. Not much of a threat with a stick in his hand, although he does have a runner goes, and it was a hit and run. He fouled it away.
It's interesting. Good job there by the shortstop Freeman. He did not give up his position too quickly. You know, a lot of times when a guy takes off immediately, who's ever covering breaks for the bag. Freeman kind of tippy-toed towards second. Didn't give up his position, so if the ball would have been hit over that way, he still could have had a chance to field it. Another thing I like, a small glove. I like that kid.
Outside, 1-1. Mississippi State protecting a 2-0 lead here in the UCLA third in Omaha, College World Series. The lead by Santora has to dive back.
May give it up. 22 seasons there.
High fastball.
That was a classic case of overthrowing there. He just looked like he was going to throw that one through the wall, and therefore he released it high. Didn't follow through. It was not about that. That pitch was not about location. That was just about power.
2-1 to Cloud. Throw to first.
Well, they've accomplished one thing. They've gotten his concentration away from the plate on the runner at first base. I mean, and that's why you put runners in motion. That's why you do things. Take a little bit of the pitcher's concentration away from the plate.
When you have a 247 hitter up there in college baseball, this is a guy you've got to go after.
Got to get after. That's what. But I think the problem is he's looking at first base and he's looking over there a little too long and then going to the plate. He's not picking up the plate quick enough.
And on top of it, Santora has 1 stolen base all year in 3 attempts.
And if it's a hit and run, there's nothing you can do about it anyway.
Sure. He has the 3-1 hole. This one's lifted to left. And Toms is there to make the catch. College World Series action continues tomorrow. First at 3:30 on ESPN. The Stanford Cardinal against the Auburn Tigers. And at 7:30 on the Deuce, it's Alabama against the winner of our game right here between UCLA and Mississippi State. That's on ESPN2 tomorrow. 2 outs now with a runner at first. Back to the top of the order. And Heinrichs, who flew out to right field his first time up.
He's really hanging quite a few of the breaking balls. He's just not finishing the curveball off. There's a finish right there at the end to get a little more rotation on it and pull it down.
He's been lucky. The ones he's hung have been really high out of the strike zone. And if you want to go after one of those, no matter how good it looks, you're doing him a favor.
You're right.
Toward the hole and through in the left. The first base hit for UCLA. First and second occupied for Eric Burns as Heinrichs keeps the inning going.
There's a fastball, and you can see that was up and around the middle of the plate. And that's going to get hit hard every time. On a 3-1 pitch.
Burns bounced out to first. Average currently 330 and 333 in the College World Series. 2%. Fastball inside. UCLA very explosive offensively. Power up and down the lineup. Kicks off a pattern and the runners will advance. That'll be a wild pitch against Reineke, one of those short hoppers that never made the strike zone.
Well, that's the infamous 58-foot curveball. Take a look. You see the catcher. He's trying to make the hitter think it's a fastball inside, and then he goes outside and it's a breaking ball in the dirt. He was trying to fool the hitter. When you pat the glove behind him, he thinks that the pass is going to be a fastball inside, and then he moves away.
Second and third, 2 out. 1-1 to Burns. Fastball hit hard, but foul back into the seats down the right field line. 1-2.
One of the things that I found in doing the college games is that the pitchers will use their fastballs as long as there's not anyone on base. But when they get men on base, they all go to the breaking balls. And when you get ahead in the count with 2 strikes, the hitter's automatically going to be looking breaking ball. You can sneak a fastball by him, move a fastball. You can do certain things. But it seems that they all want to go to the breaking ball. And that's, in a lot of cases, that's not their best pitch.
They're outside the appeal to first. And it's 2-2.
I mean, if the fastball, if the breaking ball is your best pitch and you want to use it, that's fine. But the breaking ball is not every pitcher's best pitch that I've seen pitch here in the College World Series. But it just seems that with 2 strikes, I'm going with the breaking ball.
Yes.
Or with men on base, I'm going with the breaking ball. So.
And obviously, Reineke so far has had better control of his fastball.
Exactly. But he's thrown a lot of breaking balls. We've seen
2-2, and it's knocked into right field. Bryan with the great arm comes up wrong. This one's offline. And we're tied at 2. Out after the curveball did Burns and got the single to drive in there.
If I was hitting and I'm a hitter in this college baseball, 2 strikes, I just sit there and look for the breaking ball. I mean, the point is he had to be looking for a breaking ball because that pitch was down and away and he still was able to hit it. I mean, take a look at this. Look where that pitch is, down and away, and he still drives it to right field. So that tells you right there that the hitter's looking breaking ball because that's basically the way they pitch. in college baseball. I still think there are a lot of times when you have to use your fastball.
That brings up the dangerous Troy Glass. And Glass hits it to straightaway center field. Sieno with room and comes on to make the catch. UCLA with a couple of base hits ties the game in the third.
Welcome back to Omaha. I'm sitting here with Ron Maestri, who's chairman of the NCAA Baseball Committee. And Ron, last night we introduced some information about the aluminum bats and also talked a little bit about the technology and the high performance of these bats. What has the committee done, or have you discussed anything about this?
Well, the main concern is the safety. And with all the advanced technology, the new metals and everything, our concern is the velocity at which the ball comes off the bat. Possible injury, but you know, when you look at bats, you got to look at the ball too. It's livelier. The kids are bigger, stronger, technique's better. So it is a concern, and I think we're running the numbers and seeing if there's any major injuries throughout the year.
Okay, Ron, thanks. Joe, you and Mike, we had a discussion earlier about this and also last night.
Absolutely, Larry. I think you've done a wonderful job during this series of pointing out various things about this, and the one thing that I think should concern Major League Baseball is so many of these guys are unable to hit with wooden bats when you're going out and drafting somebody very high and spending a fortune on them, and then rolling the dice, finding out whether they can actually be a big league hitter. Lee leads it off, chops it to third. Santora comes up and throws him out, one gone.
I think it's very difficult to gauge pitching and hitting sometimes, you know, in college baseball. You have to watch the technique. Forget about the averages. Forget about, you know, the earned run averages. You have to watch their technique and see how sound it is before you make those judgments. I was watching, I remember last year, they would take a look at this graphic. I mean, you can take a look at this to see the difference in wood there.
I mean, that's so dramatic.
Yeah, very dramatic. I mean,
no power, no average, you know, in the Cape Cod League, which is, you know, the premier winter league for these kids, or after season league, and it's just remarkable what it does to some hitters, but they have to learn how to hit with those bats. But a guy like Berkman, who had a big average in college and 41 home runs that led the nation, he led the league up there in hitting, so he's someone who is adept at hitting with a wooden bat.
But I think, in fairness to the kids, it's an adjustment to go to the wooden bats, and it's hard to do it in a short period of time. It's something that, you know, it's going to take 6 to 8 months. So sometimes, you know, that's deceiving, those numbers, you know, in the Cape Cod League.
Hyatt stands in, swing and a miss, and the 3-4 men in the order for Mississippi State, collectively still looking for that first College World Series base hit. Another chop to third, Santora. And they have to make the tag over there with Nista. Nice job by the first baseman.
Let's take a look at this play. Now, you're right. When he watch what happens when he charges, then he backs up, gets it on the good hop, and that's what you're supposed to do. Kind of sidearms it, and that makes it tail into the runner. Nice play there at first base. Nista just came off the bat, made the play. But when you play the left side of the infield, normally you have to come over the top to keep that ball straight.
This one dribbled down to third base line. Top play. Hatton is on his way to second. Stumbled a little bit and gets in there safely.
See your ball before you go there, big guy.
It'll be a single and a throwing error on Santora.
Well, there are times when you got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. I mean,
That's right.
That's one of those hold them and fold them times, because it was just a difficult play. He charged it, he tried to barehand it. The only guy I ever seen make this consistent was Brooks Robinson. He's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he makes a good effort, but you can see how far off that throw is. Very difficult throw. A lot of times the ball tapped down the line, the right fielder would back up, but you see he comes in the pitcher late there. But it all starts with the bad decision at third base to try to throw the runner out on that play.
And in all fairness to Santora, he's only had a handful of games down at third. They have staffed that position by committee this year.
Well, that's one of those where the infield is supposed to be yelling, hold the ball, from the time it gets past Zamora. Oh! I was good at that. Hold it, hold it.
That infield single was the third hit of the ball game. Patton has two of them. Weiss, the man at the plate, has the other one. Fastball outside 2-0. Weiss, the DH, 2 for 3 in the College World Series.
I'm also noticing something else about Zamora here. Out of the stretch, he doesn't seem to have as good a command of that ball running away as he does from the windup. And it could be where he's stepping, you know, the angle that he's getting on his when he turns. From the windup, he seems to be stepping in one certain spot, and he's able to get that ball tailing away. But when they get runners on, he seems to lose that zone.
UCLA is knocked out of here. They will look back on their fielding. They've committed 5 errors in 2 games, all by infielders so far. And I go back to your point, saying that infield play will determine how far you go here.
Every year I come to the College World Series, the first thing I try to do is see what the infield errors are for the different teams and see who plays good, solid defense. And I know that team's going to have a chance because you have to play good inner defense in the College World Series to win.
Call. Fastball on the inside corner, and Zamora gets out of trouble. His second strikeout, and we've played 3 here in Omaha, tied at 2. We're back at the College World Series. UCLA and Mississippi State, another great crowd on hand, another perfect night for baseball. We have been blessed all week with exceptional weather here as opposed to what's going on the East Coast, where they are constructing arcs in several locations.
They brought in even in Baltimore today. They had a storm in there last night, all night.
But the forecast here is perfect until at least the weekend. High 70s, low 80s. Pop down the left field side. Tom's getting the catch. Yeah, that makes the catch. So Valent, who walked his last time up, flies out, and the number 5 hitter, Zamora, the pitcher, will come up.
Well, the one thing you have to do is you see him take a look to see where the wall is, and he knows where it is. He knows he has plenty of room, and he makes the catch. Nice play there.
High breaker that hangs way out of the strike zone again. It's not the easiest thing in the world to come into this ballpark, and especially with the bullpen hitches down the lines. This one is ripped to right. Brian gets over there, plays it off the wall. Look at his arm. This kid's got a gun.
They got a pretty good arm out there.
I mean, that was a bullet. He threw back any perfect one-hopper to the second baseman. As I was saying, you have to, you know, if you hit a ball off the wall, you should try for 2. This is a beautiful swing right there. He extends, pulls it into the corner, but you can see that the ball is played perfectly and thrown back one hop right on line. So Zamora had to stay at first base with that single.
When guys who can throw like that, they're saying, hit it to me. Come on, just hit it to me.
And then tell you, try it.
That's right.
Try it.
Brian has had 3 assists from that right field spot in the last 3 games. Third hit of the ball game for UCLA here in the bottom of the 4th. Reineke has also issued a couple of walks, and this is Nick Theodoro, the second baseman. He was a strikeout victim his first time. High fastball from Chris Reineke, a sophomore from Long Beach, Mississippi. Check throw to first. Vestiges of days gone by as the pitcher dons the jacket. Foul straight back out of play. 1-1.
believe in it personally because I think if you're a pitcher and you're throwing a lot, you need to keep that arm warm, keep the body temperature up.
It's 80 degrees, Joe.
I know, but still, relatively, the body actually, works, at least I'm told, to help cool down. And you need to warm yourself back up.
Let's check in with Larry Conley. Larry.
Thanks, Mike. I'm sitting here with George Theodoro, Nick's brother. This is the young man you were talking about earlier who harassed Coach about getting him to go see his brother play. Now, my brother would never do that for me. Why did you do it for yours?
Well, I just figured, what the heck. It was after a game. I walked right into the coach's office, and I said, my brother wants to play for you, and it all worked out. You got a chance to go and see him, and it worked out fine from there.
Are you a baseball player?
No. I was through Little League, and I gave it up after that. Couldn't hit the curveball.
Mike, I know about sibling rivalry, but is this a nice gesture by a brother?
That's a tremendous family spirit there to go out of his way like that. There were times when Gary Adams wished he had not. He said he started with a letter and then came the personal visits. But it worked out well for everybody.
Well, they have an interesting defense here for Theodore. I mean, the whole right side, the second baseman is playing almost behind the bag at second. You can see right there. And they're throwing him off speed pitches.
He goes the other way toward the gap, and this one drops and goes over. Seattle fills it. And they will hold Zamora at third. No defense against it. A ringing double to left center.
Well, at least they pitched him properly. The pitch before was an off-speed pitch with all that hole over there. Now they take it and look at this. This ball's right in the middle of the plate, and he lines it in the left center field. But that's good hitting. I mean, he got good wood on it, and he finds the gap. I mean, it's an interesting lineup. If you're playing the infield that far up the middle, then you would think that the center fielder would be farther over. But they give him the gap in left center field, and there's his brother George. He says, I did that. I'm the reason he got that base hit.
That was the Ted Williams shift in reverse.
In reverse, you're right. I mean, I couldn't believe that the outfield wasn't shifted around.
Santora with men on base and a chance to give UCLA the lead now. Runners at second and third, one gone. Santora walked his first time up. Redshirt sophomore from Monterey, California. Breaking ball high, and Reineke seems to be missing more and more high out of the strike zone.
Yeah, and well, that sometimes it tells you he's getting tired a little bit. And remember, he may not have thrown that many pitches, but the fact is that there's mental fatigue that goes along with it, and then pretty soon you get lazy with your delivery.
Pat McMahon, the associate head coach, will come out to talk to him. We've got Stanley Cup playoff action tomorrow night at 7:30 on ESPN. It's the quest for the Cup. Then at 8 o'clock, the Flyers and the Red Wings. Game 2 in Philadelphia. Detroit wins the opener. They lead at 1-0. And a little fact, since 1939, the winner of Game 1 has gone on to win 79% of the time.
Yeah, but if you're a Philadelphia Flyers fan, you say, well, we're 21%. We're one of those. We're going to make it 21%.
Looking ball down. Now Zamora has passed off his jacket.
Well, he sprinted 60 yards there, so, well, 180, what's that? Yeah, 60 yards.
This will go to the backstop and get a run home. It's also and a closer than expected play at the plate. Reineke just trotted in from the mound, barely got to home, and the catcher Barry Patton for a strike onto the plate.
Well, first of all, the runner from third is real slow, but we talked about him getting up in the strike zone, and that pitch is way up and away. And you'll get a complete look at it here. Pitch is up and away. Now the guy from third starts in. Zamora starts in, but Zamora is just not that fast. That's why it was a close play.
Zamora gets in there just in front of Reineke. And if Reineke gets there, as fast as he should have. He may have had a real good shot at recording the out.
Yeah, good thing he took the jacket off.
That's right. That extra weight.
Yeah, it'd have been just a little slower.
First and third, still only one out here in the UCLA half of the fourth for Brett Nista.
I think what I'm watching here is that Reineke just seems to have lost his control. Just throw the fastball every once in a while. I mean, just you need a ground ball to try to get out of this inning, try to get a double play. Throw the fastball, keep it down.
You can really see him finish his delivery on that one. That trail shoulder really coming down through and with the pitch. One throw over to first, and Santora is back. Santora's at first. Theodoro now down at third, and two costly wild pitches in this game for starter Chris Reineke. Breaking ball cued off the end of the bat. Reineke could really use a punch out here.
Yeah, if he can get a strikeout, that's fine. But other than that, you got to keep the ball down and try to get the ground ball.
He had a double play back in the second inning from his infield. Fouled straight back on a check swing.
See, now that's a good pitch, because what that actually does is it sets up the breaking ball that he's trying to throw. I mean, but you have to use your fastball to set up other pitches. This pitch is up and in. It's actually a ball, but the hitter fights it off, but that opens up the outside part of the plate.
One out, runners at first and third, and a 1-2 count to Brett Nista. Nista with a fastball, 2-2.
But if I'm UCLA and things are going like they are, I try to put a little bit more pressure on the guy by running. I'll go ahead, they will hit and run. They'll do a lot of things. I'll put a little more pressure on him right here, 2-2, and run the guy.
Shot outside, third foul. Count holds at 2-2. There's Gene Adams, the head coach's twin brother, and the rest of the family, making the trip here to Omaha. And Coach Adams said he was really enjoying the experience. It was just wonderful to come out here, and his folks are here. We'll tell you the recruiting story for Troy Gloss, where Adams took his parents on the recruiting trip to see his star shortstop.
And everybody.
And everybody's taking credit for it, too. Breaking ball hangs high. Full count. And now the runner from first will be going. And they've taken themselves out of a possible double play.
Yeah, that just puts extra pressure on the middle infielders. Now what do you do? See, I think you have to play halfway in. So if the guy, if the runner goes and there's a chopper, you still have a chance at the runner at the plate. But if you stay back and the runner goes, no chance for a double play or the runner at the plate. You have to make a choice, one way or the other.
Hank Toms is up for Mississippi State. He is a distant cousin of Rusty Toms, the starting left fielder. Foul tipped out of the glove of catcher Barry Patton.
I can't believe he wasn't running there, and he wasn't. Because then you give him a chance for a double play. But if he runs, there's no chance for a double play. I mean, other than strike out and throw him out. But I still think you put more pressure on the defense if somebody runs. You open up a hole someplace, and you stay out of the double play.
Well, I made an assumption. I said he will be running,
and
he wasn't.
Well, we both were thinking alike, because you just, there's so much positive. You always try to gauge the risk you're taking against the reward you get. And the reward here overrides the risk, in that you will definitely stay out of the double play and you'll get a run home. I guess it doesn't matter if they don't put the ball in play.
Well, what it also does, Joe, it puts so much pressure on the defense because then they have to decide whether they're going to throw through or throw to third after a fake.
And that's what you want. You know, as an offensive team, the more pressure you put on the defense, the more chance you have of getting a mistake from them, and the more chances you have of, things going in your favor. Good pitch there by Reineke, right on the outside corner, strike 3.
Casey Cloud, the number 9 man, flied to left his first time up. And now 2 men gone, and Reineke with a chance to get out of the inning without any more damage. Just outside with a breaking ball. Cloud's a pretty big kid, 6 feet 195. This one back out of play, 1 and 2. It's Theodoro who had the big hit in the inning, down at third. And Santora at first. Theodoro doubled home some more. And some of us aren't paying attention.
You're still reading about Michael's shot. That was the sports page.
Slapped at it down the left field line, twisting foul.
I think they had a delayed steal on from first base on that play. Or he got a real late break. Let's take a look at this. Well, maybe no, he's just bluffing.
That's what to do after you finish reading about Michael's shot. Called strike 3. So Reineke gets out of the jam but surrenders a run, and UCLA has taken the lead. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. Bottom of the 4th, Mississippi State trails for the first time in the game. 3-2 as UCLA scored in the top of the inning. And the bottom third of the order is coming up for the Bulldogs. Fans enjoying the late afternoon sun on a perfect day.
It looks like a snow cone, man. I had one of those.
I go crazy for cotton candy out here. I never get any. I just see about 700 pounds of it.
I was going to say I'd love to have it, but no, I can't.
Well, I think eating cotton candy in a coat and tie is unpardonable anyway. Have to wait till later.
Well, tomorrow we're on the Deuce, right?
That's right. We can do it.
Yeah.
We'll have some up here. Ciano trying to bunt his way on, fouled down the third baseline, reached on an error his first time up. He is 2 for 4. He's got the stick.
Yeah.
You can imagine where the rest of it went.
And it probably didn't take long.
Tasted good. You can use those things as drumsticks or anything. Well, they're everywhere. That'll be my assignment tomorrow night.
All right, I'll try a little. I'll just help sample it for you.
It doesn't look bad either.
That's why, being perfectly honest with you, they've got great concessions around here. And a variety of things going on right outside behind me. sitting.
Yeah. You get just about
look at it.
anything you want.
Yeah, it is. Something for all ages.
In all waistline. Ciano trying to punt again and again, foul out of the reach of the hard-charging Jack Santor. There we go.
One thing, he's trying to bunt the ball. Looks like he's trying to bunt it down the third baseline. But first of all, he got to the barrel out front. See, he's got it behind him right there. Got to get it out in front. See, it's behind him, and that's why the ball keeps going foul. Doesn't matter where you're going to bunt it, you have to have the barrel of the bat out in front of the plate.
2-2 from Zamora. Fastball slapped towards short. For the shortstop, 10
Hey, what? If he hits it over the 6'5" shortstop's head, that's a base hit.
Ciano on to lead off the fourth.
Well, it's a line drive, and you can see right here that Klaus doesn't even jump for it. It's that high, and he's 6'5", so that's a true base hit.
And if they want to do anything, Ciano is their best base stealer, 20 of 28. He was caught stealing in the first College World Series game, thrown out at second. And tough to get that lead against the and you can see him taking a step back to first. Zamora delivered. Santora, the third baseman, creeping in, expecting a bunt. Jack squared, but took it outside.
Morris changed his delivery a little bit, trying to deceive the runner at first base. He took his knee all the way behind the rubber the first time. That pitch, he just kind of picked it up and leaned it backward. If your foot goes past the rubber, you have to go to the plate. You can take your knee behind the rubber and still throw to first base.
Swing and a miss.
Good
1
fastball.
and 2.
Take a look at Zamora, and let's see. You see his left foot. As long as his knee, see there, right there. He's got to go to the plate right there. And he does. He takes his knee and his foot behind that left foot. He's got to go to the plate. Right there. See, he didn't take it behind the rubber, so he can go to first place.
And it's the runner's job to read those kind of things. A little tougher in college because they will very rarely call a balk. Runner goes, the ball hit on the left, right back to the mound, and Zamora will make the play.
Well, they accomplished what a bunt would have accomplished, or a hit and run. It's a good fastball, and to watch this pitch, it's going to be right on the inside corner. Be right in here, and it is, and he jams it. So I think they're throwing it where I draw it.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he's got good control out
Yes,
there.
he does. It's a new pitching coach technique. Now Brian, who didn't have very many good cuts his first time up against Zamora as a lefty, with the tying run down at second. He looked like he wanted to punt. And with the swings he had the first time up, you can see him why they moved him down in the order against the left-hander. He just doesn't look very comfortable. 5 through 9 hitters have done their job, but there hasn't been anybody on from the guys in front. breaking ball, 1-1. And a free hat, gets to watch the game. Not bad. Strike call, 1-2. Brian looking for something he can hit, and in 2 trips he hasn't found it yet. Got an RBI on a fielder's choice his first time up. Breaking ball misses way outside again, 2-2. Job all year. Getting 354 coming into this ballgame. Fastball slapped foul. He's obviously, Joe, in a defensive posture up there against the left-hander.
And that's okay, but what you need to do is you need to have a zone. If the ball starts in a certain zone, you're going to hit it back through the middle and the other way. I mean, I think that's what you have to do. And if this doesn't start in that zone, you have to leave it alone. I think that's when you're having trouble with a pitcher. I think that's what you have to do. You have to cut the plate in half.
Fake to second.
And not that it would work, but if you have a guy like Greg Maddux, who's a consummate pitcher, I mean, you can't try to cover the whole plate with a guy like that. You've got to give him something, and you've got to take something.
Breaking ball right down towards second base. Theodore throws him out of the runner, advances to third. 2 out in the inning. And we'll go back to the top of the order. Brad Freeman. Mississippi State, one of 4 Southeastern Conference schools in the field of 8, and now 4 of 7 as Rice has been eliminated. This is starting to look more and more like the Southeastern Conference tournament again. Fastball in there from Zamora. Mississippi State has fallen behind 3-2 against UCLA. Just missed with a fastball, 2-1. Zamora misses wide again, 3-1. And ball 4. So he loses Freeman. With his second walk allowed, and Rusty Thompson will come up with runners at first and third. And here has been the problem for Mississippi State, the 2, 3, 4 guys in the order. 0 for 2, 0 for 2, and 0 for 2. Tom struck out and flied out. Averaged down to 338.
Let me tell you, you do not want to continue to give Lee and Hyatt these chances simply because, they're good hitters, 3 and 4 hitters in the lineup. They're going to get their hits eventually. So you better get this hitter out. You're going to be looking at a situation where this can blow up in your face real quickly.
Absolutely. just made the Mideast Regional at 444 and had 7 RBIs, so he's used to getting big hits late in the season. Baseball in there. And Zamora, to those right-handers, have been constantly on the outside part of the plate just trying to paint that corner. 16 walks on Saturday, 2 tonight. They have done a much better job. They had about a 45-minute stretch on Saturday where they couldn't find anybody who knew where home plate was.
Marty Aronoff, our great stats guy here, pointed out something to me that I should have noticed earlier, and that is that when Renicky is out there, he steps in. He's made a real big hole, and it seems to be causing Zamora some problems because he's filling up this side of the hole that has been created by Renicky. See right there, he does it after every pitch. He's trying to cover that little hole up, and that could be part of the problem he's having with his control.
You mentioned Marty Aronoff. He is celebrating the 20th anniversary of his 33rd birthday today.
He is? I didn't know that.
Worked with Marty forever, it seems.
Yeah. He's been around forever.
Yes, he has. The 0-2 to Russell. Stayed alive and lined it foul. Stranded at first and third. That's the end of 4, a 1-run game. UCLA with a 1-run lead over the Bulldogs of Mississippi State as we go to the top of the 5th. Mike Patrick, Joe Morgan, Larry Conley, our entire ESPN crew with you, and that's the way they're scoring in the UCLA dugout. Can't be a game that was ever invented that is more statistically oriented than this one. If you can find something that there aren't a big set of statistics on, I'd like to see it. Well, sometimes statistics can get you in trouble too, simply because, you know, a guy hits 300, that's true, but it's a 300 average, and that's over the course of a season. I mean, that means he maybe hit 500 this week, 200 next week, but it all averages out to 300. So I think sometimes we get caught up with those numbers, and we think that a guy's always going to hit 300, or a guy that's hitting 200, we think he's always going to hit 200. Yeah. But that's the beauty of the game. Anybody can hurt you on any given pitch. Heinrich leads it off for UCLA in the 5th inning, 1-1. We saw a very significant number on Ron Polk, over 1,000 wins in his career, and we wonder aloud again if Mississippi State loses, if this will be the last ball game of his exceptional career. He has been a remarkable ambassador for baseball, fights very hard, believes he's right in the game, and has respect all across the country because of that. Well, baseball doesn't need to lose people that are good ambassadors, no, for the game. They need to try to keep those people around. I'm sure he doesn't remember it. I met him when he was coaching at Georgia Southern back in the early 70s. A tremendous program there. This one's fouled back out of play up toward the press box. How could he forget you, Mike? Oh, it's easy. Pat McMahon, the heir apparent to the head job at Mississippi State. He is the associate head coach. And a swing and a miss over a breaking ball. And Heinrichs is gone. You know, the one thing, he got him out with a breaking ball, but he set him up with the fastball because that was not that good a breaking ball. But what happens is you get a guy looking at a fastball speed, then you change the speed, even though it's a curveball. And that one has good rotation, but it's really not a sharp breaking curveball.
take a look at it through what the umpire is going to call a strike anyway. We can see that.
It was a little further up than he would like to. Misses with a fastball. Eric Burns standing in. 332 on the year, and Burns is now 3 for 6 here in Oakland. Fastball hit hard but foul down the right side. Reineke's given up 4 hits and walked 3, and 2 wild pitches have really hurt him. Troy Gloss, the All-American, on deck. This one is fisted to left center. And on the run, I'll give it to you with a wood bat. That thing goes to shortstop.
You're right. I was talking about the hole that Reineke makes, and Zamora keeps closing it up. Let's see if we can take a look at that. You can see that. Look at that big spot on the mound there. That's the hole. Now watch when Zamora goes out there. He tries to cover up the right side as we're facing it. He tries to cover that hole up because it was throwing his balance off earlier in the ballgame. It works. That's exactly where Reineke wants to step, but it's not working for Zamora. In fact, Reineke is digging the hole deeper now. We'll see Zamora trying to close it up.
Loss hits it hard but foul outside third.
That happens in the batter's box a lot of times too.
Yeah.
A guy can step to a certain point, he digs a hole, and you come along behind him and you don't like that hole, or it forces you to step a different place. The batter's box is very important to hitters, and obviously
you can plant a whole box of seeds in that one. He's digging in there pretty good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Look at that big hole. I mean, and he was digging it out even more, so I can understand why it would be affecting Zamora. Look at that. He gets in there almost up to his ankle.
Two and 2 to Gloss. Shots wide of third.
Zamora thinking about either his next at bat or his next inning pitching. I don't know which. He has a lot on his mind today. Yeah, or he's thinking about how am I going to close that hole up this inning.
Looking for a bucket of dirt.
Yeah, I'm running out of
weather.
dirt.
2-2 to Gloss, 2 out, nobody on in the UCLA 5th. The Bruins up 3-2. What number? 413 for the year, 33 homers, 90 RBI. Fan to that one. 1-2-3 inning for Chris Reinicke. Been 4 of the last 5, but he's still down by a run. Bottom of the 5th, it is 3-2 UCLA, and let's go back and look at some of the manicuring that's been going on the mound.
Well, you can see where Reinicke is stepping. Look at that hole he digs. Now, when Zamora goes out, he tries to cover that hole up. I mean, it's just a big hole for him, and it tells you that they stand similar spots on the rubber too, because there's another way you can get away from this. If you're Zamora, is just move a couple of inches toward first base on the rubber, which would change where you step. But obviously he doesn't want to do that, and therefore he has to cover this hole up. And he has to cover it almost after every pitch, because when he steps into it, the dirt gives away, and then he has to start all over again.
Well, he can ask the umpire to have the grounds crew come out there and do a little maintenance work.
Yeah, he can, but he'd have to do it every inning.
Well, they could at least come out and tamp it down.
Yeah. But it's obvious that Reineke wants a hole. He doesn't want just a firm area there where he steps. He wants a hole there. And Zamora doesn't want a hole.
The 3, 4, 5 men in the order: Lee, Pyatt, and Patton. Lee and Pyatt have yet to produce for the Bulldogs, and they've been the big guns all year.
Now watch where Zamora lands. See right there. Look at that. I mean, that has to bother him mentally, if not just where he's stepping.
Hit to straightaway center field. Easy play for Seattle. One gone.
Yeah, I mean, he has to, he's thinking about it. He says, well, is it going to give way this time or not? But you're really just in a tough position, because I don't think there's a lot you can do, because like you say, they can bring it and pound it down, but then the hole would be dug up again by the time the next inning is over anyway.
One out here in the home half of the 5th. Mississippi State trailing by a run. Adam Pyatt, second leading home run hitter on the club with 16 long balls this year. He is hitless in the College World Series, as is his mate, who hits the 3-hole, Richard Lee, combined 0 for 13.
Interesting, Lance Berkman from Rice, he got, probably get 1 or 2 hits in the
He had
series.
a triple.
1 triple in the series.
But that was about the only pitch he had to hit, too. They were very careful with him.
He had 41 home runs on the year. I have to be careful with him, too.
And now Larson for LSU is up to 40. He's got a chance to take the national lead, as his club's still alive in College World Series and undefeated, in fact. Larson's some hitter as well. 1 and 2 to Pyatt. Another off-speed pitch drops down 2. Now there's so much pressure on these kids coming in, and then if they have an 0 for 8 streak going under this kind of pressure, it just gets more intense.
I know that feeling. I was 0 for 12 or something in the World Series. And it seemed like every time I went up there, it was life or death. Well, maybe I'll take that back. I was only 0 for 8.
Okay.
Take a look at Zamora. Now watch this. Look at this. That's...
It's an ankle breaker there. 2-2 or 3-2 is outside, and he lost it. So Pyatt reaches base with the walk, the third, issued by Peter Zamora, which was the undoing of the UCLA pitching against Miami. 1 on 1 out for Patton, who has one of the 4 hits. Doubled down the right field line back in the second. He's actually 2 for 2 after he got the second hit in the 3rd inning. Now back off the right side. Six, 7 men in the order. Patton, Reese, and Sierra have the 4 hits between them. So Mississippi State getting some unexpected offense. Right again and hard.
Please.
Is Nick St. George, the left-hander, warming up for UCLA.
Looks like a lot of those left-handers I faced when I was in college.
Throw to first, and sort of flopping back to the bag was Pyatt. Zamora approaching the 100 pitch mark. Another throw to first.
That's 97.
No.
I always wonder how many pitches is too many pitches for a college kid.
Well, I remember seeing Brooks Kieschnick from Texas. I think he got close to 160, and there was no way he was coming out of the ball game. And I think that is very potentially damaging.
And I think that's a good point, because I think over the years, a lot of the college coaches have been criticized for using, these guys. No wheel, have not throw too many pitches. I just wonder what is the number? I mean, is there a number, or is it you have to just go by feel?
1-2, foul back out of play again. Well, there's that theory that you've only got so many throws in that arm, no matter what. And you can use them up or extend your career. Zamora with a 1-2 count, a runner at first, one gone here in the Mississippi State fifth. They're down by 2-2. The crowd's great out here, though. I mean, they come, they root for everybody. There's always the group that's following a particular team. But the city of Omaha and the area around here turn out just to root for everybody, and they want good baseball, and they get it.
I think they appreciate the kids' enthusiasm, the excitement that the kids look in their eyes. You can see this is a big deal for them. I mean, it's kind of like college basketball. It's 16, and it's Sweet 16.
Sure.
With a couple of rounds to go.
Jump rope, and it's 3-2. They even get big crowds out here at day games during the week. And a lot of people calling in sick. And my great uncle Harry died for the third time, and I'm going to the ballpark. See if they do anything with Pyatt down at first on a 3-2 count with one gone.
Yeah, Mike, thanks. You saw Barry Patton trot down to first base. I'm sitting here with his mother, Carol, and his dad, George. And George was a catcher at Mississippi State from 1966 to 69. And I was just asking him the question, did you work with him a lot as he was growing up to be a catcher?
Yes, sir. We worked with him quite a bit. I was his coach for several years when he was a young man. So I hope it's helped him some.
You also told me that you played against UCLA when you were at Mississippi State.
Yes, sir. We played in the Riverside, California tournament out in Riverside, and 2 years in a row I played against UCLA out there.
Great. Thank you. Well, anybody named George Patton's got to get ready to go to war, Mike.
Yeah, Larry, you're absolutely right. He sort of got the same speech pattern that the general had. Family from Greenwell Springs, Louisiana. And after a visit to the mound, they'll stay with Zamora, who has issued his fourth walk. Two of them back-to-back here in the inning, and has worked himself into a jam for Brian Weiss, who is 1 for 2. Off-speed tap back to the mound. Chance for double play on the second for one. Zamora gets out of the inning, feeling his position. 1-4-3. That's the way you eat cotton candy.
Well, they have some.
Oh, my God, isn't that nice? They have sent cotton candy up to the booth. And I think my wife and my tailor would both kill me.
That's for you.
If I did it now, I will save this for later. And believe me, it will not go to waste.
There's a guy selling it, and there's a kid devouring it.
Well, I'll try to be a little more genteel than that with it.
Well, that's okay. He's a kid.
Sure. Eric Follett will lead it off in the sixth. Director Scott Johnson says we'll just hose him down in the stands and get him another one. If you eat the first one like that, you ought to get a second. Reineke starts the 6th to Valent, who walked and flew out foul down the left field line. They've sort of settled into a pitcher's duel. What's been interesting this week, we expected a lot of 14 to 12 slugfests, and we've gotten a lot of pitching.
Every time we've had a meeting with coaches, they say they're playing for the big innings all the time.
We haven't seen many of those.
Well, it tells you that maybe pitching is a little better than people realize, because we're getting the best pitchers on the best teams, you know, here in the College World Series.
Absolutely. The 3-1 is high to Valent, and he draws his second walk of the ball game.
I want to show you something in the double play that ended the last inning. Let's take a look here. Watch, the ball is hit back to Zamora. Now, right here, you see both of them at second base. That was the problem. I mean, he had to pick which one to throw, and he threw right to the bag, which is the way to do it. See, they were both laughing because they didn't know who was covering.
One of the problems with that play is that one guy will go over to cover, but the ball's hit back up the middle, so you're trying to get over to field the ball if it gets through.
And when the pitcher turns and looks, he sees two people. Who am I going to throw it to? So he chose the right one, the bag. He threw right to the bag and let them decide.
Zamora, who singled and scored his last time up. See if the pitcher can help himself. After a high fastball, knocks it back off the facade of the stadium. He's gotten himself into trouble with his 4 walks. He's only allowed 4 hits. Really justified Ron Polk's faith in him as the starter tonight.
Well, he's kept the ball game close, and like you said, he's pitching against a tough UCLA team here. Can score a lot of runs.
2 wild pitches really hurt him, though. The first one put runners in scoring position. The second one allowed a run to score.
Our view from the off cam.
Remarkable technology.
You're right. And this is a beautiful view right here. This is exactly what he sees.
That time he saw a high fastball. What a job by Patton to really launched himself just to make that catch as the ball sailed.
Well, they can't accuse Reineke of having a straight fastball. That one really sailed.
And that had him going back to the screen written all over it. 3-1 to Zamora, and now Patton wants to go out and talk to his pitcher.
It seems like every time he wants to overthrow, I mean, you can see it. That he's actually trying to get a little extra on the fastball. It ends up being high. He made a wild pitch doing that. And he's behind the count here. Now he looks like he's trying to close up the hole. Maybe he's tired of it, or he's trying to dig it out even more.
Pat McMahon comes out as you see Dillgard and Toms warming up in the bullpen. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series gets underway Friday at 8 p.m. on ESPN with a running of the Pronto Auto Parts 400 from Fort Worth, Texas. Then on the Deuce Saturday night at 9:30, the first IRL race to run in the evening, the inaugural True Value 500 at the Texas Motor Speedway. Motorsports and plenty of it this weekend on ESPN and ESPN2.
We got some scorekeepers there in the stands.
Swing, the runner goes, the ball's going to throw into center field. Poor throw by Patton, and on his way to third is Valent.
Well, I'm wondering what happened if he just tried to get rid of it too quickly. Or if, let's see what happens when Zamora swings. Everything looks okay except, right, I see what happens. Zamora actually touched that ball, and I don't think he got a good grip on it. He actually fouled it, although he caught it. He didn't catch it cleanly, and I don't think he had as good a grip on it as he would like, and he threw it away.
Stolen base and an error allowing him to go to third. This one is pop foul. It'll reach the seats. It's the first error Mississippi State has committed here in the College World Series. They have been pretty good on defense.
It was interesting. I mean, he'd have been better off dropping that ball, you know,
yeah.
because it foul tipped it. But once he caught it, obviously, he had to make a throw. But he never got a good grip on it. But a lot of times when they foul it, it just doesn't go in your glove cleaning. You reach into the glove, and you do not get it.
You see the difference in the defenses. UCLA with 5 miscues in 2 games.
All there by the infield, which is, you can't live if your infielders are making a lot of errors.
See if we can see the foul tip on the steal play.
Well, I don't know if you'll see it from this angle. Yeah, you can hear it. Here, you get to see how he fouls it right there. See, it hit the heel of his glove and floated down toward the web.
Another foul ball. Reineke trying to get the strikeout here with a runner at third and nobody out. UCLA bidding for an insurance run in their half of the 6th. Valent walked, stole second, advanced to third on the throwing error.
Well, I like the way that they're playing the infield, and that is kind of halfway. You don't play it all the way in with no one out because they can't afford to send the guy with no one out if you're playing in.
Swing and a miss, got him with a fastball. Big strikeout for Reineke, his 7th of the ball game.
Well, the great thing there is he finally got Zamora to chase this high fastball. This is where his fastball is at its best, right up there, and you see Zamora can't catch up with it. Good pitch there by Reineke. This goes back to what we were talking about. You use that fastball with 2 strikes up and out of the strike zone. Sometimes you get him to chase it.
Now here's Theodoro, who doubled his last time up down the left field line. In the dirt, blocked by Patton. Valent down at third, even though he's the center fielder, is not a burner. He doesn't have great speed. He runs well. Must be something really interesting in that newspaper. At least to that guy. High fastball nearly got away. Good save by Patton, who says, settle down, just throw it in here.
Well, there's no doubt that, I mean, he's probably a little tired, and he's also trying to reach back a little bit more. I mean, you're not going to have the same rhythm doing that.
Fastball inside to Theodore. It's 3-0. Got away momentarily from Patton.
And that happens to a lot of power pitchers. Anytime you get where you want to reach back and get some more, you usually lose your control. And that ball just got away. Patton, that was not a wild pitch. He caught it, it just slipped out of his glove.
Reineke has run to count to 3-0 to Theodoro, who's hitting nearly 500 with ducks on the pond. And takes high ball 4. 5 walks now from Reineke. The bullpen is in full gear for Ron Polk, and he may not wait much longer, if at all.
Well, he cannot afford, to fall too, let this game be broken open at this late a stage. If you fall a couple of runs down this late in the ball game, the pressure really mounts.
And Polk will make the trip. We'll check on the pitching change as Reineke is done here in the 6th after he's given up only 4 hits. And Hank Toms will be the new pitcher for the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. Back in a moment. Chris Reineke leaves in the 6th in favor of Hank Toms. 6'3", 202, a sophomore from Newton, Mississippi, making his 22nd appearance. And they may have called for the ground crew to come out and fix the hole in the mound at this point. And that's indeed what they have done. Jesse Cuevas and the crew, who have done such a magnificent job over the years here at Rosenblatt Stadium, have to do a little repair work in the middle of the inning. When we resume, Jack Santora will be up with runners at first and third. And only one out here in the UCLA 6. The Bruins already up 3-2. Remember, this is an elimination game. The loser falls to 0-2 and has to go home.
Yeah.
We'll update you on the brackets. LSU, so good a year ago, bidding for it again. They are 2-0 in the elimination round. Stanford will meet Auburn tomorrow in the afternoon. Rice has already been knocked out. And in the bracket we're working tonight, Miami has gone to 2-0, beating Alabama this afternoon. Alabama will play the winner of this ball game tomorrow night on the Deuce. Alabama, the #1 team in the nation, losing this afternoon. Well, at least they have the ability to tamp that dirt down. I don't know how long it'll stay.
Well, with a little moisture in it, and the humidity here, I think it will pack down pretty good. The problem with if Zamora would have asked to do it while Reineke was still pitching, all he would do was dig it up again.
Yeah. Earlier today, Miami and Alabama faced off in the winners bracket. The story from Miami, Mandy Giacomino, who elected with a 4-for-4 day, including a 3-run homer. The defense was sensational. Center fielder Ryan Grimmett came up with some big plays. The Golden Alabama offense has been thoroughly frustrated. Just 4 runs in 2 games, and Miami wins it today 6-1. They remain undefeated. Pete Fisher from Alabama was touched up. Went 5 2/3, allowed 11 hits.
Look at that, 15 hits though for Miami. There's Pete Zamora. He says, I'm glad he's out of there.
And right now it looks like more and more like a potential rematch between last year's championship combatants, Miami and LSU, a game that was so dramatic. And Miami really has been on a mission all year to get back into the College World Series and try to pay back a year-old debt. But LSU looks so tough. Hank Toms on in relief, trying to put out the fire. Runners at first and third. Just has to be a great experience for these kids coming here to play for a national championship, especially in a facility like this. I mean, it is such a beautiful ballpark, and it has grown legendary in college baseball because it's not like the Final Four where they're moving around all the time. You want to play to get to Omaha, and that's it.
You're right. I mean, it is fantastic. Look, the farthest I got was my state championship, and that was a big deal. I mean, like you said, that makes a lot of difference for us as a kid. These guys will never forget the experiences they have here in Omaha. Some of them will go on to the major leagues and gather more experiences, but the one that they have here, they'll never forget. In fact, I talked to Will Clark several times, when I used to broadcast for the Giants, and he talked about Omaha and how much fun he had.
Oh, we've had sound bites from a lot of major league guys who talk about, it was one of the greatest experiences in their lifetime.
Yeah, and there's some of the all-time players who played here.
Santora facing Hank Toms. The sun has just set here at Omaha. Perfect night for baseball and an outstanding pitchers battle so far. UCLA leading Mississippi State. And here is the power drain at the top of the order for Mississippi State. No hits from the first 4 guys, but Patton has been the star, 2 for 2. Weiss and Ciano also have base hits. Those are the only 4 tonight. And we'll see Ciano, Chapman, and Bryant, the bottom third of the order, here to face Zamora in the 6th. Ciano has the average up to 345 and 3 for 5 here in Omaha. 4 for 6. Ciano has singled his last 2 trips and trying to get something started here in the bottom of the 6th for the Bulldogs.
Well, he gets a fastball and he just pulls it in the hole. Man, this is a nice look here. We'll get another look at it from. Oh, look at that. That works right there.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Unique perspective.
So Chapman, who came up in this situation the last time and wasn't able to get anything done, is the number 8 hitter. Let's see what they try this time. Ciano, the best base runner on the ball club, stolen 20 of 28. Matt Klein up in the UCLA bullpen. And Chapman will go. Second baseman covers. They get the out. But the sacrifice bunt puts a runner in scoring position. There's Klein. Pretty good pitching staff for UCLA.
Well, you can see Gary Adams giving some instructions, basically to the catcher, I think, about what they want to do in this situation.
Brooks Bryant still looking for a good cut against the left-hander Zamora. Oh! Just missed with a fastball.
Tim Leary, the pitching coach, he's up on the top step.
Well, you don't think he went nuts Saturday with 16 walks? Hit the straightaway center field, but Valette is right there. Ciano tags, and Valette with a nice throw into third base. I told us he has a big league arm. He threw a strike to third on that one. 2 gone. Stanley Cup action coming up tomorrow night at 7:30 on ESPN. We'll start with Quest for the Cup. Then at 8 o'clock, the Flyers and the Red Wings, game 2 in Philadelphia. The Red Wings up 1-0 in that series. Back to the top of the order now for Freeman. Mississippi State 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Freeman really disgusted with himself that he didn't get around on that pitch. To start the ball game, so officially only 1 at bat. He's 1 for 3 here in Omaha. Off-speed pitch, foul back, 1-2. Set up the 2, 3, 4 guys to come up in the 7th, and Those are the people who have not produced, and Mississippi State fans just holding their breath, waiting for them to break out.
And he sees Zamora shaking off a whole bunch of pitches.
Fastball high 2-2. He comes inside. Don't be surprised if Freeman doesn't try to get out of the way. He's been hit by pitches 15 times this year.
I remember one time Johnny Bench was catching. He went through a series of signs, and the guy just kept shaking him off. So Bench yelled out to him, "Just throw what you want. I'll catch it."
And I'm sure he did.
Yes, he did. In this case, I don't think it makes any difference, but a lot of times if that guy breaks the third baseman has to go cover and the ball will go through the hole. But this one was in the hole anyway. We'll take a look here. It's a curveball that's on the inside part of the plate. You can see that even though the third base, well, maybe would have had a shot at it, I guess, if he's back deep. But so the good base running pulls the runner over and opens up that hole. The hole pulls the third baseman over. And I personally didn't like the play when 2 outs, 2 strikes on the hitter and you run. I don't know about that.
6 hits off of Zamora, and his night is over as Mississippi State has tied the ball game in the 6th.
It's another way to use your helmet.
Brad Freeman down at first. He can hit. He can spin. He can do it all.
Yeah, but they spin it like that's how they make the cotton candy.
Speaking of that, where'd that cotton candy go? I think somebody's already consumed that one. Matt Klein on relief. 6.11 ERA. He is 2-0 on the season. Only 17 2/3 innings. And giving up a pair of home runs. Right-handed pitcher from Solvang, California. This is his 2nd College World Series appearance. He pitched a 1/3 of an inning in the first game against Miami. Gave up and walked one. Rusty Tom stands in 0 for 3. Zamora, we suspect, will remain as the DH. They'll make that lineup move so that the pitcher will not have to hit in the lineup. And if the 2, 3, 4 guys are ever going to deliver from Mississippi State, this would be a good time to do it.
You're right.
Freeman runs pretty well down at first with 2 gone. Low with the fastball.
Mississippi State Ruger stomping and clapping.
Get some noise.
They were over 8 the first game.
1 for 20 is 0-5-0.
Yeah.
That won't get it done.
But it's still better than
0-0-0.
Yeah.
Here's Richard Lee on deck, hoping the Toms can keep it going. Fastball inside, 3-0. This is what bedeviled UCLA in the first game. Somebody coming in out of the bullpen and not being able to throw strikes.
They brought some gasoline out in the can instead of coming in and getting them out.
Four pitches. UCLA has issued 21 walks in 2 games. 21 walks in 2 games. That's almost hard to imagine, let alone believe. And we saw Saturday afternoon's game.
But I guess the interesting thing is, you know, they walked 16 on Saturday and they had only walked 4, and you know it's a nice ball game. They did make a big turnaround.
Richard Lee comes to the plate 0 for 3 and 0 for 7. Fastball in there from reliever Matt Klein. Got to be frustrating for Lee. 19 homers, 90 RBIs. He is the leader of his club. He hasn't hit anything here in Omaha. Breaking ball catches the inside corner, 0-2. The go-ahead run down at second. Breaking ball outside. Line 6'1", 200. Looks bigger than that. A power pitcher. 2-2.
He's definitely a power pitcher. He's got a lot of movement on his fastball, and he throws pretty hard.
And he wants to get the out here on 2-2. He doesn't want the runners having the advantage of being able to go on a 3-2 pitch. Klein to lead. 2-2, 2 out, 2 on.
Good hard slider right there.
So Klein comes in, gets out of the jam. We've played 6. We're tied at 3.
Yeah, he's a hitter.
All Zamora now can do is watch, as his club has been tied at 3-3. He will not be involved in the decision. And Gary Adams in his first trip to the College World Series hoping to extend the stay with a win here in the elimination game. UCLA will bat in the 7th. Nista and Cloud the 8-9 men in the order, and then back to the top of the order to Heinrichs against Hayes. He came in through 1 pitch and got a double play to get out of the last inning.
I don't know if it's the night air or what. The Klein and Tom seem to be throwing pretty hard out there.
Yeah, too. Tom's just got sort of an odd motion. There's a little hesitation in there before the arm slings forward. He's been effective. Got that 87, 88 mile an hour fastball. He's ahead 1 and 2 on Brett Nista. Breaking ball, foul away. Missed with another breaking ball, and it's 2-2. Well, if you're a fan of quick games, UCLA's the kind of team that'll drive you nuts. We've gone 2 hours and 30 minutes in this one. This one's ripped to left. Nista in the College World Series.
You can see where this pitch is starting out, and it's going to stay there. Right there, fastball up, and he drills it to the outfield. You can't get the pitch up there. I don't care how hard you throw. You either got to get it higher or lower. You can't get it in the middle.
Perfect situation now for UCLA as Casey Cloud, the 249 hitting catcher, comes up, and they look for him to sacrifice. Just what you want your number 8 man to do to start the rally so you can go to the bunt. And now Cloud's average down to 242 as he's gone 0 for 2 tonight.
Or it's a time in the ball game where, you know, one run means a lot. You know, it may not win the game for you, but it puts the pressure on the other team.
Back out of play.
You got to get the bat out in front. You're going to bunt. No matter whether you lose an aluminum bat or a wood bat, in that situation, you've got to get the barrel out front.
The other thing you have to do, if you are a 245 hitter in college baseball, you better be able to bunt and do the other little things.
You better have a golden glove.
And he does. But he can really help his ball club right here by getting sacrificed down. Snap throw again, runner back.
I almost want to say a balk if they let you kind of jump and turn in college that they don't let you do.
What's a balk?
In the National League, right? I mean,
I've been here for 7 years, haven't seen one yet.
I know, and technically you're supposed to step to the base that you're throwing to, not twist.
Takes it outside. Hall of Fame guys are so big.
Well, you know what's funny, I was thinking of this myself earlier. I've watched so many pitchers that I end up watching them all the time, watching the movements they make, whether they, you know, balk or whatever. And I've seen 3 or 4 balks in the night. You know, they move their hands and then don't keep going.
Second, will throw to first.
Smart play, because it was going to be a close play at second base, and you may throw the ball away. If they give you an out, you take it. You have to make sure you get it wrong.
So Cloud did his job.
Yes, he does. So he's got the barrel out front now. That's what you do. And we can see how close this play would have been at second base. He did have a shot, but it was going to be close. You got to take the sure out, because if he doesn't get him, now the next guy would be bunting.
Heinrichs comes up with a single and 3 trips. Makes a fastball low. One for 8 in the College World Series, and what leadoff power he has, 28 from that spot. 79 RBI. Expect to see a leadoff hitter, you know, somebody 5'8", 5'9", 95, 10. This kid's 6 feet, 190 pounds.
Bigger, stronger, faster.
Yes, sir. And you can see he knows how to get on base. They tried to set up Brent Nista at second base that time. They ran the shortstop in behind him. Then the shortstop went back and they tried to sneak the second baseman. Toms misses again, 3-0.
Well, do you let him swing here, since he is one of your better hitters, or do you make him take?
Just missed with the fastball. Tom staring in at the home plate umpire after the pitch.
Judging by the location of the pitch, they thought he was hitting too, but they tried to hit the outside edge with it, and they just missed. They're trying to get outside edge, see, and you see the catcher pull it back, so probably was off the plate a little bit.
So bring up Eric Burns, the number 2 hitter, with Troy Gloss on deck.
Talk about what they want him to do in this situation. The first thing you want to do is hit a line drive someplace for a base hit.
Just like he did his second time up when he drove in 2 of the 3 runs. There's Gloss, who was hitless tonight, a 400 hitter with considerable power. And Hank Tom's trying to get out of a jam here in the 7th. There's a fastball in. Strike 2. So he's ahead of Eric Burns in a critical situation. Now Burns has to be a little more protective and maybe a little more likely to ground into a double play.
Well, he had 2 strikes on him when he got the base hit the first time. So maybe he doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes.
Nesta at second, Heinrichs on at first. One out in the 7th, tie game, missed with a fastball, waste pitch, 1-2. Well, different philosophies on the 0-2 pitch too. Some guys like to go for the corner, other people want to make sure it's a ball. Breaking pitch, chopped foul. Never understood the guys who said, I want that 0-2 pitch 1.5 feet outside the strike zone.
No, I don't either. I guess the only thing they're trying to do there is establish speed, but it's a waste pitch. A good waste pitch is one that starts on the plate and moves away, or is close enough to get the hitter to maybe commit or check his swing and, you know, make him undecided. You can't throw it down the middle, but throwing it a foot outside doesn't do any good either.
No, aren't too many guys going to fan at that. Hit outside of first foul, got that one off the end of the bat.
You know, I mentioned Will Clark earlier was, you know, went to Mississippi State. His brother goes there, Scott, and he was one of the guys. I guess I don't see his name on my list, but I see his name in my book. He's a freshman, and he said that he was kind of an extra man at this point. He played a little bit, but I don't see his name on the roster here.
I think he's here, but he's not in the 25 roster. Count rides at 1-2 to Eric Burns. Tough guy to double up if you're thinking that. He has excellent speed.
They're doing a good job of holding Nista at second base. I mean, he may have trouble scoring on a single because he's not getting a big lead.
Comes up, here's the throw to the plate, nearly in time, and UCLA regains the lead. RBI single for Burns, his 3rd run driven in tonight.
Burns got a 2-strike, 2 RBI single in the 3rd. He gets another one here. And the reason he's able to score here is they play so deep. Now watch how far their outfielder has to come to get the ball, because they had a shot at him if he wasn't so deep, and he had to throw, you know, had to make a hard throw that far. You just couldn't get it there in time. Good job there by Burns. He's driven in 3 runs now.
And now Gloss with a chance to break it open. 0 for 3 tonight. Homered in his first game against Miami. He was 25 and this one skipped past the catcher. The runners will advance to second and third. Barry Patton didn't have a chance on that one.
Twitter.
we take a look at this. You see the ball hits. It looks like it might even hit the corner of the plate. And it bounced away from him. Watch, you'll see right there. It hits right in front of the plate. Actually bounces away. As you mentioned, he did not have a chance with that one. All he could do is try to block it, which he did. He tried, but he couldn't get the job done. Now here's the question. Do you go ahead and pitch to Klaus? I guess they are. And you would think that maybe they'd walk him and load the bases and try to get a double play to get out of the inning. But Ron Polk has decided to bring the infield in rather than walking.
This is a guy I would not want to pitch to. Ball is in there. That was 3 wild pitches against the Mississippi State staff tonight, and all have hurt them. This one puts runners at second and third with 1 out. To one of the best hitters in college baseball with Valent on deck. Hot tie into shallow right field. And dropped by the second baseman. The runners will have to hold. I think Travis Chapman was waiting on Bryant to call him off, but he was still on the dirt. And Bryant had to come 2 miles to get there.
Yeah, but that's bad base running. The guy at third base, you have to be down the line halfway. You're not going to tag up. It doesn't do you any good to tag up, because if he catches the ball right here, and you can't tag up and score. So you're supposed to be halfway down the line. And if that ball bounces away, see, now watch him go back. What is he going back for? You can't tag up. He should be halfway down the line. And when he see, what is he tagging up for? I mean, you can't score from there, but if he's halfway and they miss it, he could have scored. So that's bad base running.
Valent will come up with the bases loaded. A very fortunate play from Mississippi State. It works the same way as an intentional walk. It's got the bases loaded and the double plays back in order. Took something off, and Valent was way out in front.
Good miss right there. When you're throwing hard and you throw a hard slider as well, and you take something off, I mean, you're really going to fool a hitter. And not only that, not just for this pitch, but that pitch will stay in the back of his mind.
Especially a guy like Valent, who has 27 home runs. Back with a fastball, but he missed outside.
Pitch, he threw a fastball away to show him a different speed. Then he came back with the changeup again. You're right. That's excellent pitching there. Look where that changeup is, right down low. You can see the grip on it. It's right down where you want it. Good pitching there.
Bases are still loaded, but now with 2 out to Zamora. Tom's trying to get out of a huge jam. Hung that breaking ball high. Zamora has a base hit and has scored a run in 3 trips. Took him out as the pitcher, but he remains as the DH. Now trying to help Matt Klein, the reliever, win a ball game.
Yeah, but and also now he's in a good hitting position. He has a 2-0 count against Toms.
Spotted at 2-0, got it over the outside corner. Zamora with a lot of power, 16 home runs. 3 of them have been grand slams. Towards second base, Chapman is up, makes the play. And UCLA leaves the bases loaded. They do push and run across and take a 4-3 lead in the 7th.
Okay, anytime.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back. Oh, root for the home team. If we don't lose, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Yes,
the College
sir.
World Series. And while you're hanging around this city, please drive safely.
Good point.
And watch where you're stepping. Adam Pyatt, the cleanup man, leads it off for Mississippi State, bottom of the 7th. Bulldogs running out of outs in this elimination game.
Well, it just puts more pressure on you when you're down by 1. UCLA should have had 2 runs, but when you're down by 1 and you have 9 outs to go, it just starts to put a little pressure on you, especially when you know you're going to be eliminated if you do not score a couple of runs. And that's pressure, for young players.
You're right about that base running area. It could have been a heck of a play at the plate, but they would have had a shot at scoring.
He's supposed to score. He would have been able to score if he's halfway. But that's why you go halfway. You're not going to be able to tag up. So if they make a mistake, you can score.
The 3-4 hitters just haven't gotten it done. A combined 0 for 14 in 2 ball games. But Pyatt draws a walk to start the 7th.
Let's take a look at that play, in the last inning. Now, it's a pop-up shallow on the infield, but it doesn't matter if it's short right or where. Now, the ball is popped up right there. You see he goes back to tag up. What for? He can't score. If the second baseman catches it, he can't score. If the right fielder catches it, he should actually be down here right now. So when that ball is dropped, he could go ahead and score. But see, now he tries to run and he can't. So that cost UCLA a run that they may need in this ball game. It makes a big difference when you're pitching with a 5-3 lead than a 4-3 lead. And they're going to make the pitching change anyway.
Klein has given up his 2nd walk, and he is done here in the 7th. We'll document the pitching change when we come back. 4-3 UCLA. Yeah, I got it. Thank you. Back at Rosenblatt Stadium on a beautiful early summer night for the College World Series. Here's the Nike storyline. LSU and Miami, championship contenders a year ago, both 2-0. Rice is gone. The loser of this game will join them. And Mississippi State 2-3-4 in the order 1-20. We have now had 22 bases on balls issued by UCLA pitchers. And the new pitcher for UCLA, Rob Henkel, walked 3 on Saturday, but at least he did it over 3 innings in his relief appearance against the Miami Hurricanes. 3.86, pretty good earned run average these days against the aluminum bat. 3-2 and 2 saves. He went 3 innings against Miami, did not allow a run, and only gave up 2 hits.
The question is, if you're Ron Polk, what do you do here? Do you sacrifice when you try to tie the score, or do you let him go ahead and hit?
So Patton is 1 for 2 or 2 for 2 with a walk. So he's your hottest hitter right now.
So that should answer your question.
Yeah.
My question anyway.
But sometimes you go back to the percentages.
Right. And you're the home team. You want to try to tie the score. But I think in this case, especially since there's a left-handed pitcher out there, you go ahead and let him hit.
And 2 of the next 4 hitters are left-handers for Mississippi State.
Right.
That's what makes this a great game. There's just so many different ways to get it done. Henkel's been one of the top setup men in the United States this year. Square around the bunt, it's low.
Well, he's playing the percentages of trying to get that time run in the scoring position. Again, I think he realizes that, you start putting a lot of pressure on yourself when you're 1 run down and you start to run out of outs.
He scores again, pops it in the air. foul. Nista couldn't get there from first. And Patton is breathing a sigh of relief. So is Ron Polk. He's saying the bunt goes down. Down. Our producer Ed Placey just had a great suggestion. If you're going to bunt, go get a wood bat and get it down there. Well, this is a good one towards first base. The hesitation by Nista, and it looked like Theodoro may have been a little late covering the bag at first, but then he threw it away.
Well, I'm going to blame that on the second baseman myself, because he should have been there sooner. It's an obvious bunt situation. The guy squares around. It's your job to get to first base, and he did not get there quick enough. He's supposed to be standing there giving the guy a target. All right, here's the second baseman here. Actually, with an you know when he's bunting, you should start over here. He did not. Now watch, you'll see he's slow getting there. Now when he should be there now already. Now when he has to double check, that throws his timing off, and the ball is low. And not only that, I still think he should have been able to knock it down. But that's asking too much. But the real problem was he was late getting there.
Runners at first and third for Weiss, who has already knocked in one. The tying run at third. Nobody out against reliever Rob Henkel. Hard down the right field line, but touchdown to the seats. Weiss nailed it. Ahead 0-1. Weiss 1 for 3. Oh, here we go. Last play rule, a sacrifice and an E3, an error on the throw by Nista. You made a great point about Theodoro. When they square around to bunt, what's he doing when they're 15 feet of second base?
There's nothing else for you to do except cover first base when they square around.
Fastball foul straight back, got a good cut, but he's in an 0-2 hole.
Now, if they do not square around, they just drop down a bunt, and it's up to the first baseman to get back. And when they square around, the first baseman has to charge, which means you have to get over there very quickly.
And it's a tough play. You've got to come about 75 feet, set yourself, and get to the bag, but that's what you have to do.
That's your job.
0-2 to Weiss. Just foul over the bag at third.
Well, we were having another indecisive move down there at the third base on that play. They don't know what they were doing. Now they're talking about it because, I mean, either you're going or you're not going. The infield is back. You're supposed to be going on anything on the ground when the infield is that deep. He was caught in no man's land if that ball was fair.
Sure was.
He couldn't get back to third, and he couldn't go home.
I mean, with Santora that far behind the bag, there's no way he can throw him out if it's a fair ball.
Exactly. Anything on the ground now, he should be going. Unless it's back to the pitcher, and then they, but I mean, the ground ball to the mid infielders, or the third baseman, you're supposed to be going.
Still 0-2 to Weiss, just trying to get the ball in play. The second baseman didn't cover the bag. Holy cow. Fundamental errors by UCLA have put them in a real hole, and Mississippi State is tied in heavy.
Hey, do a job, dude!
Exactly right. I mean, when the ball's hit on that side, the second baseman again has no place to go. Second base is your bag. I mean, you should be at second base right there. And I know it sounds harsh a little bit, but they call you a second baseman. So second base is your bag to protect. And that ball is hit up on the shortstop side. You cannot get to it, so you have to go and help him out. And you would have been able to get at least one runner at second base there. which would have eliminated the next guy bunting.
UCLA really killing his chances right now. Walks, errors, mental mistakes. You have to feel sorry for Theodoro. His first year at second base, he has worked very hard to learn the position. But sometimes the pressure, you just have mental lock.
Right. Again, it's something that you have to think about before it happens, and it's difficult.
Ciano is singled twice now. He wants the sacrifice, pops it in the air, and a diving catch by Cloud. Nearly got it. Heck of an effort by Casey Cloud.
I'm learning a lot about the college game just tonight about what to do. Now, all right, he pops this ball up. Now, watch where the third baseman is. All right, the third baseman comes charging in. I don't know why. The ball's behind the plate. And no one was at third base. I mean, if he catches it, the guy can tag up at second and go to third easily, because the shortstop has gone to second base because that's where he's supposed to go in a bunt situation. I was just watching that. I mean, no one was at third base.
0-1 to Ciano. The go-ahead run now down at second base. Inside, 1-1.
And they try the trick play right there where the shortstop goes to third, because the hitter is supposed to bunt the ball down to the third baseman now to get him to field it. And the shortstop ran over to third, which meant if they bunted to the third baseman, would have had a force out at third. Good change up there by Adams just to give him a different look.
First time I ever saw that was with the old Pittsburgh Pirates when Dick Grote was playing short and Mazeroski was at second, and I didn't know what the heck was going on.
The base runner probably didn't either.
Almost thrown away again. That time Henkel gunned it about 7.5 feet high, and Theodore made a heck of a play to come down with.
Okay, the ball is running back to Zamora. Running back to Hinkle. Let's see what he does. See if he has time. It's a nice bunt. Actually, the runner falls down, so he has plenty of time, but he almost throws it away. He had plenty of time because the batter fell down getting out of the box.
Runners at second and third, one gone for Travis Chapman.
I think this is smart. I think you have to walk because you are the visiting team. I think you have to walk him and try to get out of this inning without giving up any runs. Try to get a double play here.
This will be the 7th walk, the first intentional.
But that brings us to the other point. If you walk the bases loaded, you have to throw strikes.
Yes.
After that.
Yeah, you put an awful lot of pressure on a pitcher.
One of my managers, Mark Anderson, he hated to walk the bases loaded and put the pitcher in that position, unless it was someone like Seaver or a veteran guy that was used to that. Sure. I don't want to put young guys into that position.
The ball hasn't been hit out of the infield this inning. They have a run across and the base is loaded. And UCLA is digging itself as deep a hole as it possibly can. Here's Nistas playing the first. When he stepped on the bag first and then threw home. And then we come to this inning. When the UCLA miscues as Theodoro doesn't get to first in time, they throw it away. And then Theodoro doesn't cover second base on a potential force. And it's up to the number 9 man, Brooks Bryan, who has had his trouble with left-handers. He's got the bases loaded. He was the defensive hero in the first game. Can he be the offensive hero? The pitcher's glove. Everybody's safe. 5-4 Mississippi State.
Well, the ball's drilled right back at him. A lot of people say, well, he should have caught it, and maybe so, but I tell you what, when you're in that position, the ball's hit right back at you, you don't have a lot of time to react. And the ball was hit sharply, and just no place for anybody to make a play. That's just a tough play. I mean, you can't make that play.
Slow motion does not do that justice. No. He had no chance to really get a good look at the ball.
No, and that's one of the things that they were talking about earlier about the aluminum bat. The ball comes off so quickly that you can be injured. You know, they do not have a lot of injuries, but it can happen.
Take a look at it in real time. Right on you. Ruled a base hit for Bryant. He'll get an RBI out of it. The base is still loaded. One out, back to the top of the order to Freeman. RBI single his last time up. And Hinkle must be wondering what's going on.
Yeah, you're right, because he's gotten the ground balls. He's done what he's supposed to do. I mean, the last ball just hit too hard for him to handle, but at least he's been able to keep the ball on the infield.
Chop foul outside of third, 1-1. The ball has not gone more than 100 feet in this inning. They've got 2 runs and a lot of guys out there right now with 1 out.
You're right. They have not got the ball out of the infield. The other ball hit on the back of the infield.
In the dirt, good stop by Cloud. 2-1.
So for a game like this, shows you how the little things in the game can make a big difference. If UCLA would have scored that other run in the top half of the inning, they could not have bunted. You know, after they got the leadoff hit on, a lot of things would have been different. So little things make a big difference in the game, in baseball.
Ground ball to the short, could be 2. They throw to second. Scores. Theodore could not make the throw from second base accurately enough to convert the double play.
Well, he gets a little pressure. This ball's hit hard, but it's in the hole a little bit. Nice play to get it over to him by Gloss. And if his throw is accurate, they got him. But watch, you'll see that he has to throw over the runner. And his throw just kind of tails off to the catcher's side of the bag.
6-4 Mississippi State. And there may be an angel sitting on Ron Polk's shoulder right now. Chop toward short, top hole. He flies down the other side. Holy cow. Rusty Toms, the beneficiary of a slip by Gloss at short. And somebody upstairs may know that Ron Polk is on the way out of his college coaching career. He's getting all the breaks in this inning.
Well, he definitely gets one there because Gloss caught the ball and he was ready to throw to second base. His feet went out from under him. That's that transition from dirt going out on the grass, and the grass gave way.
They'll give Toms an infield single. And here's Richard Lee, the number 3 man. Runners at first and second, 2 out. Lee still drawing the collar in the World Series. 0 for 4 in this game, 0 for 8 in Omaha. High to deep right center field, but Barnes says he's got it. And Burns nearly ran into it. That would have been the death blow. Lee gave it a ride, but Mississippi State gets 3 to take the lead. What a torturous inning it must have been for head coach Gary Adams, whose team has played so well all year long. They get here to the College World Series, and this was the gathering they had at the end of that last half inning. Everybody trying to get it back together and pick the spirit up. 4 runs in the inning. The ball never left the infield. That's just got to be crushing.
Well, I think it was a great time to have a meeting, because what he wanted them to do is no one point fingers. Let's not think about it. We're in this as a team. We're all in trouble, but let's not give up. And it's very difficult for young players not to have their spirits broken. So I think that was a very good meeting, and I think you'll see them give it their best effort for the next 2 innings at least.
4 runs on 3 infield hits, 2 walks, a botched sacrifice, and a couple of other errors. And Nick Theodoro comes up trying to atone for a couple of mistakes in the last inning.
And it's a funny thing about baseball. Baseball is a team sport, and you have to always remember that. It's an individual game with a team concept. And that ground balls that are hit to you, you have to feel them yourself as an individual, but everything you do is part of the team. And if you make a mistake, it hurts the team, but you're still part of the team, and you have to, your teammates have to look at it and say, hey, we're all in this together, we'll make up for it. And that's what you have to do.
And this young man has played so well, came into this game hitting .363, made the All-Midwest Regional team. Line drive, base hit for Theodoro.
And I tell you what, that helps the whole team right there. Not just him, but it helps the whole team.
Absolutely.
And you have to give him credit because he went up there battling.
Yeah, no quit. Let's go get him. Only down by 3. That's the only attitude you can have if you have any hope of coming from behind.
And we all know in this game you can score 3 runs very quickly.
Especially with the power on this club. I mean, one more runner aboard and they've got a chance to tie it with the power they have. Santora, who has been hot, has a couple of walks, officially 0 for 1 tonight. Against Hank Toms, who came on in the 6th and pitched very, very well. Slant from the hole past the diving Freeman. Runners aboard, and the potential tying run will come to the plate.
I'll tell you what, no matter what happens, at least they're showing that they're, that they deserve to be here.
Aren't they?
Because there's no quit in them, and I like this. Everyone's going up there hacking. They're not going up there taking, trying to, just giving up. They went up to get base hits, and now they have 2 runners on. And remember, you don't have to get all 3 runs back here in the 8th inning. You have 6 outs left.
Brett Nista will stand in. He singled and scored his last time up in the 7th. Now here in the 8th. Trying to keep the rally going. Outfield slightly around toward left. Just hits this one off the fist back out of play. We have some teams in the College World Series who have tremendous come-from-behind records. UCLA is not one of them. Only 1-15 and trailing after 7. I think the number on Alabama, 31 come-from-behind wins last time at bat in 3 years.
UCLA, all you need to say is we only need to be 2 for 16.
That's right. And it's about time.
That's all you need.
Dilgard and Johnson. Johnson, the superb closer, warming in the Mississippi State bullpen. The rally caps are out. Well, at least some of them. Hobbs misses with a fastball. Two and 1 from Hank Toms to Brett Nista. Strike 2 call. Toms has been able to come up with a big pitch when he needed it.
Well, he's using his fastball effectively, trying to keep the ball down. He's getting the ground ball, even though 2 of them have gone through this inning. He's still keeping the ball down.
Just tipped foul. Nista barely able to stay alive on that one. Here's the 2-2 from Hank Tom.
As you said, he's been able to make good pitches when he needed them. That was a beautiful pitch. That's a great 2-strike pitch because the hitter just can't lay off this. It's a breaking ball away, and he just can't lay off of it. I mean, you get 2 strikes, and you start it near the strike zone, and most of the time they will commit.
Mike Himes will come on to pinch hit for Casey Cloud. Only 24 at-bats this year. 8 hits and a .333 average. And it's something you know Gary Adams really didn't want to do, but at this point with a 240 hitter up, he's got to go with somebody that he thinks can get a hit, and he's going to lose an excellent defensive catcher because of it.
At this point, you're right, they need offense more than they need defense.
One out, runners at first and second will go to the top of the order if Himes can keep the inning going. Takes it high, 2-0. Himes, a freshman from Rancho Santa Fe, California. Getting a chance to be a hero here at the College World Series. Fastball inside corner at the knees for a strike. Now this, folks, is pressure. Here you are, a freshman who hasn't hit that many times. You're up at the College World Series. Tom's moved badly with that one. 3-1.
Tom's is trying to run that fastball away and get the ground ball, and they ran away too much.
The 3-1 to Mike Himes. Hit in the air to left field. Is under it, 2 gone. And now it's up to John Heinrichs, the leadoff man. We're in the 8th. UCLA has seen Mississippi State put 4 on the board in the bottom of the 7th to take a 7-4 lead. Heinrichs 1 for 3, a walk, hitting .359. Young man who came into this game with 79 RBIs as a leadoff man and 28 home runs. He could tie it with 1 swing. High and foul. And they get out of the inning. Excellent pitching job by Toms, and UCLA squanders an opportunity. They lead 2 and we go to the bottom of the 8th. 7-4 Bulldogs. It's 7-4 Mississippi State over UCLA here in the College World Series. And if you like hockey, we have it for you tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. We'll start off with a quest for the cup. And then at 8 o'clock, all the action you've been looking for. The Flyers trying to even up the series with the Red Wings. Game 2 is in Philadelphia tomorrow night. The new catcher, Jason Green, as Cloud was hit for in the 8th. Adam Pyatt will lead it off here in the Mississippi State 8th. They have to feel so fortunate that their big hitters have not produced at all. And they've got a 3-run lead here in the 8th inning.
Well, you're right. I mean, they have to feel fortunate, but they also have to know that they're not going to go much further if they do not start hitting. So, let's see what happens there. And they need, I mean, 3 runs is not an insurmountable lead.
Not against UCLA. Hinkle high with the breaking ball. Hyatt has walked twice tonight. 0 for 2 officially, 0 for 6 in the series. Strike called, 2-2. Kept the middle and through in the center field. So Hyatt gets his first base hit of the College World Series. That will elicit a smile.
You're right. I mean, he extends out and just grounds that ball right back through the middle. He didn't try to pull it, didn't try to do too much with it. And that might get him started. That's what you need. I mean, the first one's always the hardest. I mean, it's like opening the season. The sooner you get one, the quicker the pressure is relieved.
Patton is 2 for 2, sacrificed his last time up successfully, and then on a wild throw. The inning going, sacrifices again, another good bunt. They execute this one properly, one gone, but Hyatt goes down to second base. Coming up on Sports Center, Keith Olbermann and Rich Eisen will show you a little matchup between Gwynn and Maddox, 2 of the best. Marabu in action, and the Daily News on John Daly, who finished the Memorial Tournament, the waterlogged Jack Nicklaus invitation.
That was the other Daly.
Oh, the Chuck Daly.
Chuck Daly.
Right.
The basketball guy.
Well, I jumped to a conclusion seeing only one name.
Yeah. Well, the other one hasn't been in the news like that.
True.
So John's the one that we've been reading about mostly.
Brian Weiss has had a good night, 2 for 4, trying to pick up another one. Smacks it hard. Theodore throws him out. Two gone in the inning, and over to third goes Pyatt. Damian Ciano strides to the plate, 2 for 3 and a sacrifice, currently hitting .348. Scored a run back in the 6th, trying to give his club an insurance run here. Up by 3 in the bottom of the 8th. Makes a fastball inside. Ciano from St. Rose, Louisiana. Breaking ball drops low, 2-0.
One thing I've been impressed with is the velocity of these left-handed pitchers. I mean, they've got some guys with some pop on the ball.
That's the left center field. Catch, Heinrichs. Left center. Robbed of him an extra base hit. Ciano hit it on the nose. That's the end of 8. We will go to the 9th. UCLA with a big defensive play here. And that ball may have hit the ground before it hit the glove.
I won't say may, it did, but I thought so when I saw it originally, but on replay it definitely proves that.
We're going to the 9th. It's 7-4 Mississippi State as we go to the 9th. That's John Heinrichs who made the big play in left field, but as it turned out, it was a beautiful little trap.
Yeah, but it was so close. You have to give him the benefit of a doubt because he does everything right here. His glove is open. Usually when you trap the ball, you turn your glove down, but he did everything so correctly that it just did look like he caught it. and you can't see that ball hit the ground as well at night as you can in the daytime.
Here's the box score, and 2 of the 3 players coming up here, Burns, Glass, and Valent, are 0 for on the night. Burns with the 2 hits out of 4 trips. And they'll need him against Hank Toms, who came on in the 6th inning and has been tough. Burns really upset with himself after that pitch. Matt Peoples is the new second baseman. In for Travis Chapman. Strike call, 1-1. UCLA down to its last 3 outs. They lost it 7-3 and 12. They're behind 7-4 here. And it's the fundamentals that have gotten them in Omaha.
Yeah, you mentioned that. I mean, we saw earlier that they had committed 5 infield errors. They haven't committed infield errors, but they had mental mistakes. But they have had 1 infield error tonight.
Well, there's that old bromide. Make all the routine plays and don't walk people. And those are the 2 things that have killed them. But they're not done yet. 2, 3, 4 in the order up here against Hank Toms. Breaking ball is high, 2-2.
Swing at it, tried to check his swing, but too late.
Troy Glass 0 for 4. Who broke Mark McGuire's Pac-10 record for homers down his 34, broken up Samuel his 33rd.
And that's what happens when the big guy hits it. I mean, he is big and he hit it big. He only wishes someone would have been on base.
He wishes 3 guys had been on base. Valent will follow him. Fortunately for Toms, he had a 3-run lead. The solo shot only cuts it to 2.
If you're a coach, you tell them, you have a 3-run lead, it takes 3 solo homers to tie. Just don't put anybody on base. And I guarantee you they won't hit 3 solo homers.
Well, I guarantee you they won't hit 3 against him. Somebody else hits 1. And he's walking toward the dugout.
But yeah, he won't give up 3. You're right.
Valent hits it to left. Toms drifting back toward the track and has run. 2 gone.
Let's take a look at what happens when a big guy hits him. I mean, Glaus is big and he hits it big. I mean, he gets all of that one. And it travels well over the bleachers there in left field. It disappears. You can see it disappear.
And he hit a huge clutch 9th inning home run against Miami in their opening game Saturday afternoon that forced that game into extra innings. He is a big-time player. As we told you earlier, he is expected to go 5th or 6th in the Major League draft. And if this is Monday, the draft is tomorrow.
Tying run to the plate, which is all you can ask. Try to get a chance to tie it.
Zamora gets the base hit. And boy, wouldn't Theodoro who has 6 home runs this year, like the jerk one now. Had a base hit his last time up. And UCLA will go with against the pinch hitter. Or pinch runner, excuse me. Zamora in the 7th. Just out there for a nightmare as his teammates made as many mistakes as they possibly could. Theodore, excuse me, the second baseman with those mistakes. Got to hit his last time up. Represents the time and an 0-2. He took that pitch, and boy, on the corner, the UCLA fans did not like the call. UCLA down to its last swing, down by 2 in the 9th. The loser goes home. The winner survives to play another elimination game. Sports Center following our broadcast. If Theodore can get on, Santora is on deck. He would represent the lead run. He hopes for an opportunity. Mississippi State wins it, and they stay alive in the series. The Bruins of UCLA heartbroken, and they are gone. What a job by Hank Thomas.
Well, you're right. I'm a little surprised that Theodore took this pitch. He took a 3rd strike in the 2nd inning, then he swung the bat and got a couple of base hits. And he was just trying to get on base there for Santora, but good pitch.
Hank Thomas wins it in relief. The final score, Mississippi State 7, UCLA 5. The bottom half of the draw now looks like this. Undefeated Miami awaits the winner of tomorrow's game. Alabama taking on Mississippi State. You can see it tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN2. That follows the first game from the top half of the bracket. Stanford taking on Auburn here on ESPN.